There it goes. Ah, there it went. There we go. Hello,
Oh my god, the golden arches.
Ooh.
I'm not seeing it yet. Oh, there
hey,
we
everyone.
go.
Hey.
Hello.
Sorry about moving the mic.
Hi.
Hi.
Greetings.
Welcome.
Everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Shop Talk. Home of the Shop Talk.
Yeah, Lackadaisy Shop Talk, where we talk about
Shops?
Shop, yeah.
Yes, we talk shop.
So,
I hope
Home Depot.
nobody else has made that
this
joke.
is
By talking shop, we
QVC.
mean we talk to other creators, people who make comics, cartoons, you name it, who are doing their own thing, and we want to hear how they do it, and what kind of nightmares they've experienced, so that you could learn something too. So with us today is Scum House, creators of Satina. If you guys
Hello.
want to introduce yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Alright. So my name is Hannah Daigle. I am a member of Scum House, one of the 4 members. I'm the creator of Satina, and I'm also, I do a little bit of everything on the production. I do directing, I do writing, I do storyboarding, animation directing. But yeah, I do that all with my dear friends, who else wants to introduce themselves? Who should go next?
What order do we go?
We didn't establish an order. Shaggy, do you want to go next?
That's spin the wheel!
Yeah.
That's,
No!
Yeah.
I think it should be on laws than me, because that's the order we've been presented with our PNGs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go
Arnold,
ahead.
go ahead.
Sure. I'm Arnold. I guess I'm an animator slash storyboarder. I work on Satina. I work on a few other things, but yeah, I mostly just we split up the animation stuff. I do half and half, and then we figure out the rest. And yeah.
Alright. Hi, I'm Lars. I'm a background painter. I do biz dev and illustration as well, but on Satina it's mainly just background painting. So anytime you see the environment go crazy, that's usually me.
I love those environments.
Oh yeah, I love those backgrounds.
I was loving like just the
Yeah.
Thank you.
mushy, smushy, like rotten fruit appearance of hell.
It's like
oh man,
it's like a fleshy coral reef look. It's great. It's just
I
so-
want
Oh,
to
thank
lick
you.
the counters of that bar.
That's a very apt
Yeah.
description.
Yeah.
I worked for years and years to get my prompt artist abilities up to snuff. Like,
Oh.
Getting love in
wow.
chat for the Waffle House hat.
Yeah.
oh, thank you, my great benefactors. Anyway, go ahead, Shaggy. Please, get away.
Oh no, let's talk more about backgrounds.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Shaggy, you have to go.
I'm Shaggy. I hang out. I just like to.
This is a guy. This is a guy.
We just, I'm just chill. I'm
like
just
an
like
animation groupie, like
yeah, like I managed
He
to.
just kind of hangs out in our
Like
house.
if you
and we're like, hey.
if you DM your favorite creators enough, they let you hang out with them. Like if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. Just keep trying, even if.
Definitely good advice to follow, of course. Incessantly message people until they're so annoyed they have to let you in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm Shay. I'm the problem solver. I do all the editing, and like when they make the storyboards, I make the animatics. I do all the scratch audio. I help hire all the freelancers and stuff. I keep track of, and I make sure all the work gets done and organized. It's
So you're the production manager, effectively.
sure, yeah, I'm that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I'm the producer.
And
but-
you helped me write.
Oh yeah, and I also write all the jokes that you
That's
don't
a very
find
crucial
funny.
part of
All the
part
jokes
of what
you don't
do.
find funny, those are mine, and all the really good stuff is Hannah's. That's the agreement that we came up with. Is I only write the bad jokes. I'm only allowed to write the bad jokes.
well, you
So
need some
anything you don't find
contrast
funny.
there to emphasize, you know.
My bad jokes
It's all
make-
about finding that balance.
My bad jokes make Hannah's funnier jokes even funnier. So like, I'm like here to
very
prop her
important.
up. I'm like her wing person.
No, it is for Lackadaisy.
You joke,
I'll
but
pitch
at
some
the same
Terrible
time,
pun.
I know you're jesting, but at
Shaggy's
the same
also a-
time, the
Oh,
nice
no.
thing about sitting down and writing with other people sometimes is I can write whatever I want, and they can delete it if they feel like it. But if they like it, it must be good. If they deleted it, cool. Nobody gets to see the bad thing I wrote. Yay!
No one knows
Yeah.
about my crimes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The dream
Yeah,
is
it's-
writing and
it's-
letting somebody else edit it. It's great.
I actually like editing more than actual writing. Like I have a
Really?
hard time coming up with like the foundation of things, and that's where
Ah.
Shaggy's really good because he's a very skilled writer and he actually knows like story structure really well. So he kind of like writes the basic like plot outline, and I kind of like fill it in with my own little details, and then we kind of go back and forth that way. It's
think
very
we're-
fun.
Relationship.
If we were to really describe how the writing process works for Satina, is that Hannah and I will usually like either in the car or on a call one day, we'll just kind of have the seed of an idea, and then we'll come up with like multiple, not like set piece jokes, but kind of like setups for jokes or scenarios. And then what I'll do is I'll take all of our favorite stuff, and I'll actually write like a full draft one of a script. It's either on my own or with Hannah, like rocking back and forth in a chair next to me. And
I thought you meant like
once
having a
the- once
mental
the-
breakdown at first. She's just
No, just-
channeling a demon, and then yeah.
Yeah.
she never sits still. But yeah, she'll do that, and then she'll kind of just take over, and then cut all my favorite jokes out, and be like, they were never funny, and I'll be like, okay, well, your show.
Placeholders have a place in things, so.
No, but
Yeah.
for real though, she's
Yeah.
one of the funniest people I ever met in my entire life.
Aw.
Oh, stop it.
And it's I wish we could animate fast. I wish Arnold and Hannah could animate these things as fast as we write them all, because we've got like a backlog of stuff now.
Yeah, we do.
Which is
Yeah.
great. It's nice that we've got all the stuff ready, but yeah, it's frustrating to not just have Satina forced down your throat. If we could, we'd have a new episode out every day.
Yeah, we know the feeling. Like we've been doing a lot of writing lately, and it's like, okay, yeah, the satisfaction of finishing a script, and then how many months / years is it gonna be until
Oh
then?
my god.
See,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing is that
Yeah.
if all those AI art and AI animation, etc., things really did the things that were promised, then every person who works in cartoons could go and make their own cartoon. But the fact that it can't, and that's why all of us are like, no, they're lying to you. Really, we're saying they're lying to you. It's like, we would happily go and make our own things if we could, if it really worked that way, but it doesn't.
Well, if it worked
doesn't-
that way and it wasn't stealing other people's work, you know.
That too. I
But,
don't really
yeah.
want to steal
Yeah.
people's
I think
yeah.
that's my favorite part about AI art.
The,
Is that
is the
Well,
stealing.
is
the
the
joy
ceiling.
of the thievery, yes.
Yeah. It's like an art heist, but way less cool.
I love my photo bashing machine that looks like has all the problems of a person who doesn't know how to draw, but just extremely well rendered, and also still.
Yeah, I do. My favorite
What if
thing
you
is
photo bash someone's bad drawing together? But actually,
That's a good way to
I've
put
seen
it.
stuff like that, and they're usually fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Spider-Man Elsa renders, those are next level. One of my big inspirations.
Look, only
Homer
AI
Simpson
can make
and-
something as genius as Spider-Man Elsa go dig a hole and then die.
Yeah, giving.
Yeah.
giving
You're gonna ask me about our inspirations, right? That's the only
Yes,
one that we
yeah,
have.
anyway.
Spider-Man Elsa.
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Actual
Okay,
question.
You can see a lot of
God.
it bleed into our work.
One of the greatest satisfactions though is whenever one of those new AI things gets made. I always go to them and I go like, Satina fighting Superman, and it doesn't know what Satina is, so we haven't been scraped yet. We're not in the black
that's
box.
the great
Safety.
the great
We're home
triumph. It's like,
safe.
no, you haven't gotten me yet,
You're
machine.
never
That
gonna
was-
get us. Never ever.
That's actually one of my
And
problems
the
with that
monkey's
stuff.
paw curls.
I will.
Yeah.
Sure,
Careful
I'll
with
do.
your machine.
Sorry, my landlord is asking me a question. Sure, give it to me. Why not? He sees my open window. He doesn't realize that I'm podcasting right now.
Oh no.
He's
Do
very
not
nice.
disturb podcast in progress.
Sorry. He's
all
offering
good.
me scraps of metal. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, like, oh god, that is the frustrating thing, is that those algorithmically generated images are really just conglomerations of people's most common searches. And like, if I type in the things that I can think of, it fails utterly. It's like, if you have an
Yeah.
actual imagination and you come up with something unique, it doesn't know what to do for you. and it will just kind of forever disappoint you. Like this is before all the brouhaha, and I was like, well, I just want to see what this does. So I inputted just Blue Microraptor. It was partially to see did it scrape my work, but I just wanted to see what it would come up with also. All it did was give me Emily Willoughby's work just rehashed to me over and over again. And I'm like, well, I don't want that. I've seen Emily Willoughby's work. If it's just rehashed and given to me over and over again, I might as well just go look at her work if that's what I'm gonna get. Because it didn't understand, like, type in anything dinosaur, it does not know what you're really asking for. You will get just trash. The moment you get anything more specific than Supergirl with bigger tits, it doesn't know what you really want. Cause
it knows how to render tits just fine.
Yeah, it's good at that.
Look, it struggles with hands.
Or definitely
tits,
prioritize
it's got.
that
I think
over.
there's more pictures of boobs on the internet for it to scrape than there are of hands,
are
apparently.
Yeah. No, what it should have done is we should have had the wrong number of tits. Now that would have been great. Imagine like 3 or like 3.5 tits.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day.
It's like sticking that nose on like the statue, like there. Now it's art. It's like okay.
GPT-6 can deliver 2.5 tits to you, no problem.
I kept trying to generate screenshots of what a Twisted Metal Black 2 for the PS2 would be, and it just kept giving me literal pictures of twisted black metal.
Oh, did you ever see the one that was salmon swimming upstream?
Oh,
it's fillets of salmon.
Big chunks of uncooked
I'm like, that's actually really good.
Yeah, don't they have an issue now where it's like it's referencing its own images because
Oh yeah, it's like what's it called? It's some kind of data decay or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the official term
It's
is.
cannibalizing
Google anything. Google like ducks, and it'll like half the entries are like AI generated ducks. It's this.
I know.
Who's
It comes up like
uploading
whenever
this
I'm randomly googling something, and I'm like, oh wait, that's a cool. Wait, no, that's AI. That's fucking AI.
Yeah.
Like it's dangerous now. It's like
it is making
misinformation.
Google just straight up unusable for me. Like it's like you want to do some image searching now, like go use DuckDuckGo or Bing even, because it's just
Bing is making its own AI now. The Bing AI.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's like way
Microsoft's
more
on it,
integrated
it's
than the
smarter.
Google AI.
Okay, DuckDuckGo then.
DuckDuckGo.
Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time.
I mean, look, I'm just
Chad
grateful that AI is improving rapidly right on the onset of 2 global conflicts. That's very fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm really glad
what could go wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like people aren't fooled by
God.
like video game imagery and that kind of crap, or you upload like a video of just like a soccer celebration of just your casual like writing because your team won, and they're going like, look, it's a war zone, guys. It's like honestly, it's any
Battlefield
conflict now.
1.
Yeah, it's always like some soccer game.
riot, but it's like
some soccer riot in like the UK or like Scotland or some hockey game in Canada. It's just like here's like a sports team riot, and they always frame it as like, look at this war zone. Everything is always
be like
just a
that.
sports game. Why not?
Be like that Nukem board game scene in RoboCop.
You know what the real answer is?
yeah.
Is that obviously,
That's it, buddy.
Oh, wait,
no
yes.
more
Arnold and I were genuinely having this conversation the other day. We're like, it just feels like we're living through a RoboCop ad.
Yeah, no, it just seems so
RoboCop
satirical,
ad.
but
Yeah.
that's the problem. Like you can't like
2023, directed by Paul Verhoeven.
like it's hard to even enjoy like sites like Clickhole or anything anymore, or like Hard Drive, because it's like some of this stuff just seems real now. You know, the satire is just so on the nose.
Satire is dead.
What we all found out,
We're
basically,
living in it, dude.
this is what I discovered thanks to the internet, is that those shows that I used to watch as a kid, where it was like, oh, look at that funny cartoon character, ain't that kooky? Oh, look at that bad guy, he's so silly. That good thing that doesn't exist. And then what you find out through experience, unfortunately, nowadays, is that those people are all real. And they're actually even worse than the fictionalized version, no matter how cartoony.
Talking about it in relation to like Captain Planet and stuff, and I used to roll my eyes at Captain Planet and like, oh, these villains are so outlandish.
But
and,
now
like, their motivations
I
don't
just
make
have
any
to
sense.
assume
It's
the
like,
writers
they
knew
weren't
something I
outlandish
didn't.
enough, actually.
Yeah. It turns
Did you
out
ever
that
watch
the people who are destroying the environment are dumber than we all figured.
Did any of you ever watch the like Jim Henson dinosaur show, where it was a bunch of people in like
Yes.
dinosaur
Yes.
suits?
Yeah, where they all
Like,
die at the end.
They all die at the end. They all
And
like
the
were
big
the
guy's
authors
like
of their own
the
doom.
CEO guy that's like, I don't care if we're gonna die. I got all this money I gotta spend, and it's like, it's like not even
literally
that
what it
far
is.
off.
It's literally the fucking guy from Monsters Inc. He's like, I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die, or whatever. Like,
It's like whenever I see shit like, yeah, we're just gonna colonize Mars, we'll live in space. I'm like, you guys really read like Arthur C. Clarke's books and thought that's what being in space actually is like? You realize that was science fiction, right? Have you talked to an astronaut ever? Like, it's not. It's not
I don't
easy.
know.
It's not
I
fun.
think the Torment Nexus is a wonderful idea that we should all get in.
Yes,
you know?
obviously. You mean Twitter? That's just Twitter.
Yeah.
We've already built that. We built like 5 of them already.
I have an idea. Let's just build an indie animation colony on the moon.
I mean,
Why didn't we think of that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
go
one way to
around.
stay focused.
away from all these normie freaks.
Normie
True.
freaks.
I just want my freaky freaks instead.
You guys should see if you can do that in California before you try the moon.
No, it's expensive here. We have Discord for
It'd be more
that.
expensive on the moon.
I'm happy in my little hole in Washington.
Look, how am I gonna get pizza delivered to me?
How much do you think a 2-bedroom apartment on the moon would cost?
2 bedrooms?
No, but you can't get
That's
Oh, wait,
a lot.
hold on.
Hut
Are we
delivered
talking
to
like?
the space station?
Yeah.
But what?
That's
We
how
don't have
roommates
moon
do have.
currency yet.
Are we talking moon dollars?
Yeah, we have to
or-
make moon bucks.
You'll use the Bulgarian lev.
It's okay, guys. I'll just invent a new coin called Moon Coin. And then we'll all
Oh, there we
spend a
go.
ton of money on it, and you guys can be in on the docket. So we're gonna hype this thing on the internet. Tell
For legal
everybody that
reasons,
it's,
I'm required to say this is a joke.
we're gonna tell
you'd like to
everybody
give
that it's
your-
not a joke, in fact, and that it's worth tons of money, the moon dollars, so that you can get to the moon. We'll
If
all
you guys
make
want
enough
to
money
support
to actually
Scum
get to the
House,
moon.
give them all your moon bucks.
Yeah.
Yes, please. We're always taking moon dollars. Donate to us on PayPal.com/PayPal
Tweet them
Slash
at
moon.
Yeah.
slash moon. PayPal.com/moon.
I just hope that the American I just hope that the moon base is made by Americans so that we're using moon dollars, because if it's made by the Canadians, the currency is going to be called something dumb like moonies.
No, it will have the
Moonies
queen
and
on it.
toonies.
Wait, no.
Moonies and
Will
toonies.
will the Moonies have the queen or the king on it though?
Oh God, no,
Yeah.
it'll have Justin Trudeau.
Well, who's the king of the moon?
We'll have Elon
who's
Musk.
who's the moon queen?
Well, if
right now?
Canada founds it has to have whoever is the current
Grimes.
ruler of the UK.
Oh no!
Can we just declare the current ruler of the UK one of the corgis? So the moon dollar, or the Mooney has a has just a corgi on it.
Someone said the Moonanites from Aqua Team should be
Oh,
on.
right.
The moon.
Are you
I don't
kidding?
know.
No, they're
Natural heroes.
not going to pay taxes. Those guys are definitely libertarian. They're not part of the colony.
Do you guys remember that fiasco with the
Yes.
light brights?
Oh, the
and, yeah.
Moss
Yes,
bomb and
I
shit,
was-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That, yes, I remember that. That was one of those like post 9/11 what the hell moments. where
Yes,
they were
it-
terrified of everything with wires coming out of it must be a bomb, and it's like
The scary
come
light
on.
bright underneath the bridge. Yeah.
Well, that was
It's
definitely
kind
one
of
of those.
nuts how
That was definitely one of those cops are stupid things.
it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy though. Like that one incident, it was like you changed the timeline. Like if that didn't happen, then the leadership at that network wouldn't have changed, and then all these other changes wouldn't have happened. So it's like that one event affected so much. It's crazy.
It is weird. Yeah, the whole butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Aqua Teen Hunger Force or 9/11?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah,
Yes.
both.
We could have stopped
were very
9/11
impactful.
/ Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Are you trying to say Master Shake could have stopped 9/11?
A
You could've.
Master
Probably
Shake
wanted
would have
to.
caused a second 9/11.
I feel like Carl is a real freedom fighter. He
He's
could've
like, I
stopped.
can't remember the day that these things happened. What was it? Like the December 13th or something? When was 9/11 anyway?
Yeah,
I can
don't
totally
know.
see Carl running outside, like, "What the hell are you doing?" And when there's like the down. Oh God!
I'm trying to get to work faster, obviously. Like he's in an airplane.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's change the
Let's
topic.
reel it in a little
Anyway,
bit.
Satina.
We're out of
Let's,
the we're out of the 8-minute range. We're out of the.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
Satina.
yeah.
Let's talk about Satina. So, guys,
Let's talk about how
Hannah.
9/11 on the
Ficticia
street.
is.
Well, since we're all going to hell, we need an introduction on what Satina is.
That's a
for
good
people.
transition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Hannah,
Yeah.
Satina, why does it exist? How did it happen? How did we get here? Please tell us.
Oh my goodness, how
Yeah.
did we get here? Okay, so this is the Satina origin story. I was going to a little art school in Massachusetts. I was in my sophomore year, and I was in my second year animation class, and I needed to come up with a character to animate. I wanted to kind of like, it wasn't required, but I wanted to like make a character that I would like use in multiple assignments that I could just like draw really quickly and was fun to draw. So I was just doodling one day, and this is usually how I make my characters. I just kind of like draw, and I draw a guy, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool guy, and then I think of like his backstory, and then the rest is history. But yeah, that's what happened with Satina. I was just like doodling this little demon girl, and I was like, oh, what is this character? What would she do? How does she exist in the world? And I was like, what if her mom was the queen of hell and her dad was a human man? And I thought that was a really fun dynamic, and I kind of like started to think about that more. What's up?
I said a lucky man.
Yes. A lot of people, many people wish they were Dave. But yeah, so so Satina was born. I used her in a few assignments, and then I drew a picture of her and Dave, and wearing like little T-shirts. I think Dave's shirt said "I fucked the demon queen of hell," and all I got was this T-shirt. And
No, all I got
Satina
was this bastard child.
This is so
Oh,
surreal.
sorry,
I
I don't even remember my own fucking joke. Okay.
I remember
I know you're
Yes.
talking about your protagonist, but you keep saying Dave. I'm like, I don't do these things.
Dave, you would not
Sorry,
fuck
Dave.
the demon queen of hell?
You wouldn't, given the opportunity.
Okay, yes, I will.
Out your preferences right now on stream for
Yes.
500 people.
It's
It would
just
be
like
easier if I
Tumblr.
looked
need
more
you
like
to-
it would be easier if I was as handsome as Hans, though. That would be way easier.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Hans actually did like a Dave cosplay for Halloween once. He put
Oh,
on like
that's
a little blue
awesome.
shirt.
Aw.
Yeah. Very funny. He kind of looks like him.
Would anybody
but
have
yeah, so-
recognized who he is?
I don't know if he
Just
got
looks like
recognized.
a
He just sent me a
normal
picture.
guy. I see.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
It's about the blue shirt. His iconic blue shirt.
I see.
That's what sets him apart.
but Hannah, you were talking about the wonderful picture that you drew.
Yeah. So yeah, I drew this picture. And Satina's shirt. She was like holding Dave's hand, and she was looking really happy. And she's like, the shirt said, "I heart my dad," and I posted that on Twitter. And I was like, oh, these are my characters. And then I do that stuff all the time. Like I would like post on Twitter like little doodles of my characters or whatever, my drawings. And this one got really popular because I guess a lot of people wanted to see it. So and then it got posted on some anonymous websites that will not be named. Some image boards. And it got really, really, really popular there. And it kind of like left Twitter and like kind of like found an audience like in other websites, and that's how I got into contact with Arnold and Shaggy. Is that they came across that picture and they're like, oh wow, we're like, we're trying to do indie animation, we're trying to like make our own studio, we should contact Hannah because this could be a cool show and we want to like help her get it made. So Arnold DM'd me, and the rest is history, I guess. I said yes, I want you to help me make this, and so we've been collaborating ever since. That was like in December of 2018, so that was
ages ago.
a long time ago.
We're straight up just
Before
like, hey, we
times.
think this is gonna be huge, and we know that you're gonna have tons of people offering to help. Please, can we help as well?
Yeah.
And then I think we spent like over a year working full time on episode 1 of Satina, just living off saving. I think Hannah dropped out of college.
Well, what happened was I finished my film, Satina Wants a Glass of Water. That was a school film, and it's kind of shit because I did everything myself, and I did it in Flash. And I didn't know how to use Flash.
Rest in peace.
And I did all the voice acting and all the backgrounds and all that stuff. But yeah, so I uploaded that, and then that got pretty popular. And then after that, we started working. I think we were like in development on episode 1, like while I was working on that. But we got like fully into like storyboards and animation and stuff like that, and voice acting. After it was uploaded, and then COVID happened, and I was yeah, I that kind of made me drop out of college, and I was during that time, during like the countrywide shutdown, where they were like closing state borders and stuff, declaring the national emergency, all of that stuff. I was stuck in New York with Arnold and a few other people, and I was basically just like stuck in the basement. And that's when we kind of like that's when I realized I had to like kind of drop out, because I realized that I wasn't getting a lot out of my school, and I realized that I had a really good thing going and I could pursue that instead. And if I was like already in the industry, so to speak, and already working, then I didn't really need to like get my degree, and that's been proven true.
Yeah, Hannah. Can I? It was just we were helping Hannah with some of her homework.
Yeah. It was like a psychology class or something, and I was like, I need to do this. Like, and it was like online classes, so
it was online class. No, you were working specifically on an essay, Hannah.
Yeah, I was working on an essay. Yeah.
What was the title of the essay? I can't remember.
The psychology of creativity.
Yeah, you're writing an essay on the psychology of creativity, and we're like, Hannah, will this help you make your own show? And she was like, Wait, you mean the thing I'm already doing right now? Maybe not.
It's kind of actually getting in the way of like, you know, of my work.
Yeah.
You could be animating your show right now rather than. Yeah,
and then I was after that I was just like, yeah, I give up. I'm getting out.
when you were doing just the first water short, and then like the first episode, do you already kind of have in mind where you wanted to take the whole thing, or are you just kind of messing around with the characters and stuff at that point?
Well, I don't know if we had like a whole like arc for the entire series. I just wanted to make this first episode as like a longer like exposure to Satina and the world that she lived in.
Ooh,
what's up?
What's wrong?
Sorry, there's like it's on my end. Sorry.
Playing.
Yeah, there's like weird noises playing. Sorry, my bad.
I heard that too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear anything.
I can't hear it.
No?
It's
Maybe you have a tab open or something.
No, I heard it too. So.
Dave and I are having a group hallucination.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry, Hannah. I didn't mean to
Molly
interrupt.
and you.
Go for
I
it.
heard it, Newt. Go get the
okay.
gun.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
All right.
Ask Dave. He's already packing.
Tomorrow.
Hannah, we didn't thinking back on it. We didn't really have. We were just like, we were so in the moment of like, we should just make this. Like, let's just make it.
It was just
Like,
episode 1. Nothing.
It was
else
genuinely. There was genuinely no. We're gonna spin this into a. It was just like, we should just make this 15-minute cartoon. We have the ability right now to make it, and we should just make it as best as we possibly can.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned about like, you know, pitching it or like making it into a bigger thing. I just wanted to like just make a whole episode.
There genuinely was when we finished it like a week afterwards. We were like, okay, now what? We just do that again.
We have to do that like 50 more times. Or
I was like, we
something?
have to do that because the thing is, we genuinely were making that like full time. We were like staying up crazy hours, crunching to get it all done. We weren't getting. I mean, we had a Patreon, and God, we adore our patrons. You guys definitely made it a lot easier, but
oh my goodness,
it was scraping the surface. We were able to get like a bit of extra help. We were able to pay for music and for backgrounds, basically.
Yeah, it was a really tight budget because our Patreon was like.
We were getting something.
There were a lot of people, but it was just like not enough that it wasn't enough money at the time, so we had to really be. It is, we learned that
Even when
lesson.
it's just you, it's expensive because it's like you need to spend all of your time doing the things. So, what is the minimum amount of money that you need to live on? And it's like,
Yeah.
It wasn't even what we had to live on because it was like we were foregoing like like Hannah wasn't developing savings for like student. She dropped that. You know what I mean? Like I was unemployed at the time. I was living with my parents, and I was like, "Fuck it, my parents aren't gonna kick me out a year from now, so I might as well just use this time to just make a cartoon as well."
I remember this happened like after I moved from Florida, and I was working this really awful like call center job, and I remember I just worked for like a week straight, like 12-hour shifts, and at some point I was just like, I have enough money to just stop and go do the fun stuff, go animate stuff. So I was living off of those savings back in that time, and that's what I decided to spend my time on, just helping Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that, like, I don't know, sense of creative urgency that leads to something getting done that is otherwise kind of like outside the realm of possibility, because everybody just kind of collectively decides, well, I'm just gonna put everything aside and do this.
And we thought, we were kind of like striking while the iron was hot, because we knew that people really liked Satina and wanted to see more, and we were just like, we have to give them more, like now.
Like while the iron is hot, and release a cartoon a year later.
I mean, for animation, that's fast though. So it's like, you know,
for YouTube, it's glacial.
That's true. By YouTube standards, that's like an eon. But by actual realistic animation standards, like that's grindstone, like determination to get something done. We felt similar urgency about like following up the pilot with more animation too, which is in part why we decided to do things independently. It's like we could spend like 2 years trying to shop this around and like find a home for it, and
then nothing
meanwhile
happens.
the entire animation industry is falling apart, then get stuck in development hell for another year and a half or something.
This isn't a comment on Lackadaisy, its story, or even a genre, but like, who would even buy Lackadaisy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see a network caring. Like, they would see the massive success on YouTube and be like, we'll buy it, but we need to change a bunch of things about it.
That's part, again, why we ended up doing things the way we did them, is like one of them is it's like, well, I mean, the animation industry in terms of like networks and studios right now is just like it's a dumpster fire, and
it's a little bleak.
It's pretty bleak out there, and hostile toward animation, especially adult animation or animation for adults. But the other thing is like, that's, I mean, why we made the pilot ourselves to begin with, is we put together a pitch, shopped it around briefly, and the response was like, no one would have any idea what to do with this. You better just
literally told this is cool looking and all, but I don't know who we would sell it to. The number of networks that are looking for even adult animation is much narrower than for kids cartoons. And then on top of that, if it's adult animation, it has to fit within like this even narrower constraint than what kids cartoons are allowed to do, which is one reason why you'll see like a lot of variety in kids cartoons, just because they can get shopped around more. So sometimes you'll see stuff where it's like, obviously this premise might have started at some point with like adult protagonists or something, but it wasn't gonna get made if they gave it adult protagonists. So, well, everybody's 11 now, I guess. It's
the adult like kids can never like an adult, unless they're superheroes.
That's impossible.
Then it's okay.
They're really into like 40-year-old men, so long as they're superheroes. But anybody else, no, they only ever want to see themselves. Meanwhile, I remember what it was like to be a kid. I didn't want to see kids on the screen, because I didn't want to be that kid. I wanted to be
kids
a
are
grown-up.
lame.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a cool teenager.
You want to be a grown-up, and when you're a grown-up, you want to be a kid. That's
personally,
I
feel
don't.
very...
Everyone forgot Samurai Jack and
hated
Mega XLR and all that cool stuff. With like, they're actually living their lives. They're you can, as a kid, you're like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do, and then,
Yeah.
Personally, I feel very robbed that we'll never see the single line thickness puppet rig Rocky doing the "Give Me a $1" pose.
I mean, homework. Hey, homework.
Now announcing Adventures of Kid-Friendly Zib and Mordecai.
Would their guns be replaced with like water squirters?
No, what would happen is
that most of the
things is like we were.
Being cut for inappropriateness. Anyway, go
We
ahead.
would
You're in
either
that, sorry?
multiple things. Like we'd have to make the characters ugly, which is basically they say, well,
What?
you're gonna have to like redesign the characters because if you're making a cartoon for adults, you have to make it like there's like this visual code that says this is for adults, not for children.
Yeah.
And you know, you think of things like Big Mouth and stuff like that. It's like it's drawn like that on purpose. Like there's
Oh,
a
and like
specific
sausage
reason they do it.
party.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
to
like-
remember is that it's not that it's not even necessarily that audiences wouldn't pick up on the fact that it was for adults. It's because you have to sell it to people who are convinced of that kind of thing. So if you have other
exactly.
people
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
have an image in their head of what an adult cartoon looks like, and it's always based on like what already exists. You are fighting an uphill battle to make anything.
Yeah,
that's going
you
to
would
be
you would be
unique.
surprised the lack of creativity and outside of the box thinking that goes on in like the creative industry is like, you know, it's just
Well,
Not
it's
for
all
lack
based
of
on
trying
statistics. Like,
either.
no, everyone is too scared to
everything's-
take a risk on
everything's
anything.
decided by the algorithm now. So,
Yeah.
you know, but
Algorithm, focus group testing, that kind of thing. It's
yeah.
sucks.
That's
And there was
yeah.
also that like, oh well, you're gonna have to get like a big name executive producer on. Like, what's your list of like your wish list of like, you know, celebrities? We're like, we don't have one of those.
What? Why? Why would we want a celebrity? Like a bunch of celebrities would run the risk of a lot of other things. Besides the fact that they can be
Like
very
hugely expensive and a
yeah.
liability. Like all they have to do is like say one stupid thing.
It
And,
turns out that
like,
Chris
their
Pratt's
entire
favorite
project
hobby is like wringing puppies' necks, but you're like stuck in a
Oh my
contract with the
God.
guy. You know?
Yeah. Your
For legal
entire
reasons,
livelihood is
I am not
dependent
I'm
on
not
that
saying that-
celebrity not
Dude.
fucking up in a big way. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's very true.
I told
Yeah.
A celebrity could just end your life by saying something stupid on Twitter,
Yep.
and then you like don't have food for that week.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember that one time I was just curious about like, man, it would be like really cool, I wonder how much it would cost to get David Lynch to voice in something, and you found out it would be like $75,000 or something.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
just reached out to his agent. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
like,
well, never
hey,
mind.
what's
Now
It's
we
like
are-
you might be better if you actually were able to get a hold of David Lynch themselves. But at the same time, those guys are also under obligation to their agents or agency to demand something. So
There are like
Also-
levels of bureaucracy and all of this that
Yeah.
are just like, if you just make it yourself and go indie and just meet peers that you actually feel like, oh, we can like work
Yeah.
together and do stuff like that's
and you
the
can
dream.
hire the voice actors you actually want, and
Yeah.
things like that. You know.
also,
like,
yes, folks,
yeah.
those are my birds. I have parrots. They are right outside my
Yes.
window, so I can't mute them. Sorry.
It's kind of nice. It makes me feel like I'm in a rainforest.
Yeah, that's me all the time.
Same.
They're letting me
Well,
know.
in the Rainforest
they are
Cafe
outside.
once again.
Anyway, on the
Yes.
topic of hey, Dead Dan, thank you so much for the
oh yeah, we've got a whole
Super
queue
chat.
of questions.
Yes.
yeah
from
we
folks.
we are taking super chats, and all of that fund, all of those funds will go to the Scum House crew here to help them make their season 1 of Satina.
Yes.
Which
We're
is another
gonna
thing I
spend
wanted
the
to-
money on a Tesla.
Yeah.
A single
will that
Tesla.
help-
We're gonna
will
buy
that
a
help where
Tesla.
Satina gets
It's a
big?
company vehicle.
You guys don't understand. If we can't make more animations if we don't each have our own Tesla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's physically impossible.
kind
Hey,
of
Mr.
like-
Beast, are you listening?
Yeah.
Mr. Beast, if you want to fund us.
The
Jimmy,
12 old men.
Jimmy,
The 12 old
what
men.
if you got
all
into
had a
cartoons,
Tesla.
Jimmy?
They had 12 old Teslas.
12 old Teslas. It was.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so animation's expensive and difficult, and the reasons we do this independently are multifold, but it's not the easy way, you know, to get things done.
Yeah.
That is the way that we want to go. 'cause
It's the way-
just because of our own
Right,
creative
right,
satisfaction.
it means creative freedom, but it also means, you know, eating a lot of ramen noodles and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But,
deferring student loans until forever.
Speaking of, like, if you want to support Satina long term, also I have a link. If you look around the frame of Shop Talk, you can see patreon.com/Satina if you're interested in what they're offering for. What's your like $1? What's your lowest tier?
Yeah, the dollar tier gets you into the Discord server, so that's always a fun time.
It's not worth it.
It's shut up.
You're supposed
It is
to sell
worth
your
it.
shelves, damn it.
Donate $1. It's also a one-time donation, so even if you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
if you stop pledging, you can still get into the Discord.
Wait, I
Kick
didn't
you
know
out of
that.
this.
I've been paying $1 a month for the like 3 years
Honestly,
You're, like,
honestly,
paying $1 to yourself.
the organization in Scumhouse is in shambles. I'm not surprised to hear that. Sorry about that, Lars.
I'm in the poorhouse now because I've spent a total of $36 over the course of
Oh no.
have Discord access.
Please give them the $1 so they can afford their ramen noodles and thus keep the animator.
Right.
Yeah, our ramen noodles.
Our
Wink,
Tesla
slash
flavored
Teslas.
ramen.
They spent
Yeah,
all their
we
money
eat
on
our
Teslas, so they have to eat ramen noodles only. Yeah.
I bought way too many Teslas. I'm paying off all these Teslas.
Guys,
good
help me
investment.
budget for the month.
Oh,
One lucky viewer who watches a Satina episode gets a free Tesla.
You don't understand though.
my
Teslas
goodness.
have a touchscreen at the center console. We use those as our Cintiq tablets.
Oh my
We're
god.
driving. It's so we can multitask because we're very busy.
Can you drive
red
with
lights.
a stylus pen?
The texting while driving, illegal. Drawing
You
while
drift
driving,
with a pen.
not
I can just
illegal.
imagine getting into a
Okay.
wreck and you wake up and just your pen is stuck in your head, and they're just like,
Wow, you're gonna be so much better at drawing now. You could just think your thoughts and they turn
Yeah,
into
I
that's
art.
can
how
move
you-
the pen with my brain.
Yeah.
Integrate. It's like the start of an interesting sci-fi story about
Yeah.
how you know.
That's
I've
how-
heard
that's-
of hotkeys, but
that's
this
actually-
is absurd.
That's actually how Neuralink by Elon Musk
Your,
is going to work. You just get a
yeah.
pen
Oh,
rammed
no.
in your
It's
head.
a bionic stylus pen.
After getting into a Tesla accident that it causes. It
No, it's,
decides
and
it's
it's
gonna run
great though
over a duck.
because whenever Hannah and I have writer's block for our script, what we'll do is we'll get in the Tesla and we'll put it in dog mode.
What's dog mode?
Dog mode.
But you don't know about Tesla dog mode? Tesla has a mode that you can leave your dog.
Oh, you can
locked
leave
in
your dog in a
car.
hot car, but
Yeah,
like
you can leave your dog in
yeah,
a hot car
ethically.
ethically. So we put it in dog mode, and we're not allowed
The
out
Beatles
until
does
we've
do
that.
Okay,
figured
wait,
out
wait, wait,
the,
wait.
You just live in the
Wait.
car until you finish.
So
yours.
who's liable if the car then hits somebody? You, Tesla, or the dog?
No, the patrons, because they bought us the Tesla.
It's all their fault.
Yes.
They're enabling us. Look, this is just how the animation. Why do you think it costs $2 million to make an episode of The Simpsons? It's because they have to buy so many Teslas.
So many tests.
Yeah. Oh
Get the
god.
job done.
It's like I love how well our backer kit did. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like shading it at all. But anybody who thinks like, wow, like that's so much money. What are you gonna do with the excess? And we're like, excess.
Excess. There will be
What do you
excess.
mean?
Yeah, I had people messaging me on like Tumblr and stuff. Was like, "What's it like to be rich now?" And I'm like, "I'm. That's not my money. That's going
That's
directly
not
to
what's
production,
happening.
and
That-
you
the
will be
pace-
surprised how fast we spend that
Yeah.
on making animation." Like,
I don't know. You can buy like 20 Teslas with that. You can get a lot of
Probably.
animation done.
Yeah.
Are
That's
they
how you
how
gotta
we- that's how
consider
we,
this. That's how we
yeah,
compartmentalize
That's
our
how we
budgets.
quantify our budget.
Yeah.
should've thought of this. Yeah.
20 Teslas
It's like 40K.
or five episodes of Lackadaisy. You choose.
You mean I
Priorities.
God
could
damn.
turned in my hybrid from 2007 to get a Tesla?
Oh shit, you got a hybrid?
Yeah, from 2007.
Oh,
That's
so
a
it's a
good year.
Prius.
No, it's not.
It's not a
Oh my
Prius?
god, oh my god, what
No,
is it then?
God, it's a car brand that doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Wait, is it a
road legal?
is it a Leaf?
For
No, wait,
mods.
what? Sorry, this is a mystery now. A 2007 hybrid that doesn't exist anymore.
Is it a Saturn?
Yep.
The Yugo.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
nice.
Saturn
God.
made hybrids? I didn't know that.
Like-
Okay,
did.
but what
Yeah.
if Rocky drove a Saturn?
I mean, Rocky's the reason why Saturn
I
doesn't
think-
exist.
Yeah, the Saturn would not exist anymore.
Yeah.
That particular one, anyway. And probably the nearest cars in the vicinity to it as well. So, whatever Teslas happened to be driving by at the
God
moment.
forbid Rocky drives a Tesla. We'll find out just how flammable they can really be.
Ivy has no idea how to fix a lithium-ion battery.
No.
That's the whole second episode.
Rocky is the beta tester for self-driving cars.
Oh wait,
If
I had a
anybody heck
question
it
for
up, you
you.
will.
I just
Yes.
remembered. Sorry, speaking of Ivy, I had a question for you. I know it's supposed to be the other way around, but with Ivy, how are you aware of Atlantis, the movie, the Disney
Yeah.
one? Yeah, there's
Yes.
the little Hispanic like mechanical in that, and she also wears like a
Oh
big
yeah.
hat.
Oh yeah, yeah. People have mentioned her
And, like,
to me
oh,
before.
oh,
like,
yeah, no.
reminds me of her, like, yeah.
Yeah, she's fantastic. No, I was just curious if that was a character that you particularly enjoyed or not.
I mean, I love that movie, but I think I honestly started working on Lackadaisy. When did that movie come out?
Oh, I'm not accusing you of lifting
I'm
it or
not
anything.
sure.
It's just I got a
no,
nice
that's
feeling
fine.
when I saw that
Ivy
character.
doesn't usually wear the. We actually
Atlantis was
dressed her in-
2001.
Oh, okay, so that was before I started working on that was older than I thought. No, yeah, I like the look of that character quite a lot.
Because sometimes certain things like bleed in subconsciously. Like with Hannah, she'll never admit it, but she is like head over heels in love with John Arbuckle.
I mean, Dave has a bit of an Arbuckle vibe.
I can
get
sense
it.
the big feet.
That's not
in
true.
Satina.
That's not true, by the way. Shaggy
Dave.
loves to like make up lies about me. It's his favorite
Satina is
pastime.
obviously inspired by Garfield. You can tell.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
actually, yes, I am inspired by Garfield, but I don't want to admit it. I love Garfield as a child, and I would
You call
draw
the lasagna
Garfield all the
cat
time.
I
line.
did too. I used to I would
Yeah.
like
Up
trace
until-
or copy like Garfield.
Yeah,
comics.
yeah.
Cool.
I wouldn't trace, but I would make my own little books about Garfield, and I would like memorize how to draw their hands, and I think that has bled over into my art style, whether I admit it or not.
Yeah, see, I told you these things
Yeah.
bleed in.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go around saying like, "Oh, Garfield is my greatest inspiration."
I wouldn't go around
It's
saying
not-
that
it's
either,
just-
Hannah.
It's just like one of
Um,
those things that so
I
many
said
kids
John
are-
Arbuckle, not Garfield.
John Arbuckle. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What were you saying?
Oh, I can't. Nothing important.
Oh my
Okay.
god,
like
for hard drive.
those like
my
those like
nonsense.
broadly like available things like
Yeah.
Garfield and I mean Calvin and Hobbes was probably like inspired every
Oh,
single
yeah.
like
love
webcomic
Calvin
artist
and
I ever
Hobbes.
encountered during like that
For
came
sure,
from my
for sure.
generation of people. So it's like yeah, it's just
Yeah,
kinda like
it inspired me. Also,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
absolutely,
the I'm looking forward to the show. Like I heard Bento Box is making it.
What, Calvin and Hobbes?
the Calvin
Calvin
and
and
Hobbes
Hobbes,
show.
yeah.
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 Actually,
Bill Watterson finally died, and
Yeah,
they-
he finally left his
His family
Yeah,
sold
and
his
his
estate.
kids just immediately sold it
sold
to,
it,
to
yeah.
Pixar.
They tried to pitch
We're
it
gonna-
to him, and then he
Does
just
he have
died in
kids? I don't even
Yeah.
know. He just seems like such a recluse. But he
Yeah.
actually did just make a book with somebody like I
That's
saw a
right.
documentary about
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
like
this
this really
grayscale
weird
one.
book.
It's like painted and stuff.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
partially sculpted and photographed and painted and like if you the documentary about or like the interview I watched about him and his friend making it is so bizarre and funny because it sounds like they hated each other's ideas and they hated working on it, but they did it anyway, and
Oh.
they were like, but it was a challenge, and they just seemed to like I don't know, like take certain pleasure out of this like really cantankerous adventure they had, like making this book that neither of them could agree on what it was supposed to be.
That's how you know it's real. That's how
Yeah,
you know the world
That's
is real.
kind of the
Like,
interesting thing
what a
about like
weird-
a positive creative relationship is not one where you guys just agree all the time.
Yeah.
And like
Oh, for
and
sure.
everything is just and you say nice things only always like me and Tracy and Dave will be talking and while we're doing writing and stuff and we'll just start yelling about shit.
We will.
Like,
but
no,
we'll
no,
also
no,
be
no,
like,
that's
Yeah.
not what I meant. I meant this. No, that's bad.
yeah, and then it'd
They'll be like, not another fucking pun, Captiville, and I'll be like, I'm sorry. Like,
hey, Mar A, 200 ARS. I'm not sure what
whoa!
denomination or not denomination.
It's pesos. It's a peso.
What currency that is? Thank you,
Yeah.
though. Donating so they can get their Teslas. Don't Google the conversion for pesos to dollars. Okay.
That's fine.
We appreciate
Thank you.
that.
We appreciate any amount of money.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah,
Also,
thank
not
you.
to derail too much, but speaking of super chats, we do have a handful here, as well as a bunch of other questions. We've
Yeah,
got $5
absolutely.
from Dead Dan 2. Hey, say team. we, will we
Fatima.
ever get a Dave and Lucia
There it
origin
is!
episode?
There it is!
Was Lucia's
We
design
predicted
that. See that,
was
Dave.
was Lucia's design perhaps inspired by the elites from Halo?
Yes.
Oh my
Definitely,
god, that's a
No.
throwback.
John
Whoa.
Arbuckle inspired. I would guess.
Hannah, just say yes.
Everything
dude,
is
we
inspired
need,
by John Arbuckle.
This
Hannah,
is
we need
actually
we need the
the,
nerd cred,
Can
dude.
we get some like weird fan art of John Arbuckle on a date with a Halo elite?
Master
Someone
Chief
can make
takes
that
off his
More
helmet.
homework,
It's,
thank
it's
you.
John Arbuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Lucia was not inspired by
No.
that character, unfortunately. I feel like I feel like there was an inspiration for Lucia that was also like kind of subconscious. I think I drew some inspiration from Aku from Samurai Jack, specifically like his weird shoulder blade things. I think I like grabbed that like
Ooh, and her
accidentally.
hand design. I can see that.
Yeah, and the hand design too. Yeah. I think Arnold also was like, Arnold, this is gonna sound weird, but like you're kind of like integral to like the design of her hands, because I had a specific way I drew her hands, and then I think like when we started collaborating, you're like really good at drawing like claws. So I think I picked that up from your art style.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
people ask like these very specific questions about like what inspired you to do this or that. It's like it's really hard to put a finger on exactly what, because
Yeah.
you've snowballed this like collection of things that have influenced you or interested you, and you don't necessarily take conscientious note of it. It just, you pick up some part of it and remember it in some way, and then it ends up bleeding into your work, running through the filter of a bunch of other different things, and it's like
it's not like a choice that you make. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's usually not
I'm
like-
gonna take this and this and this.
Exactly. It's not like this one-to-one thing where it's like, I am
Yeah.
taking that specifically and putting it. I mean, sometimes, like, I guess some people do that deliberately or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it
to try to
depends
pay
what you're
homage to
doing.
something,
Yeah.
but I think that's when it's like an homage, when it's a deliberate, like, here is this thing that's like like the carpet from The Shining shows up in all this horror stuff now, and it's like that's not accidental.
Yeah.
Or, it's deliberate.
Yeah.
But like when it's just like this natural thing, it's it's like the thievery of an artist is just that, like sort of like Katamari Damacy thing, like where you're just like picking up stuff
Rolling up a bunch
and
of
rolling
people.
it. Yeah.
Calling back to our AI conversation, this is one reason why artists get kind of rankled when people say, well, isn't this how artists work? And it's like, it's not like a piece of me
No.
doesn't also go in there, though. It's like, it's not a
Yeah.
one-to-one translation, because it's literally impossible to do that. Like, a piece
The
of me is
machine
going
didn't
into it.
like Supergirl. The machine isn't a Supergirl fan.
Yeah.
So when the machine makes Supergirl with huge badonkas, it's not because like, damn, I love Supergirl and I love huge. It's just the machine. It doesn't know anything. It's not
Doesn't
like,
even know what
Yeah, I mean, the
badonkers are
whole-
and why they're so appealing.
Yeah, the whole art part of it, the thing that makes it art is that you're seeing someone's, like life experience put onto the canvas.
Yeah. It's like this artist has lived an experience, has collected all of these ideas from different places, and that combination of those things is what makes it such a personal thing to the artist, and it makes it your personal style and your vision, and it makes it unique, and that's what you're missing when you have AI art that's just scraping
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
From
I feel
here
like
and there, like-
I've seen a lot of people like I've seen people like get angry at people who like bash AI, like genuinely, like they're like, oh yeah, I don't understand these people, like that AI is like this great tool. It's like, and they have all this justification for it, and I just like I feel like a lot of artists take for granted how important and special art is, just
Yeah.
because we know intrinsically that it's like, oh, art is great because it's like our life experiences,
yeah.
Yeah. I think it says
put
a lot
out on a
to-
canvas or whatever.
I think it
but,
says a lot to
like,
how...
that's-
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, no, but like to other people, that's not really like something they think about, and it was kind of eye opening for me to see like
Right.
Yeah.
people have that opinion without that
like-
that information.
Yeah, like what some consumers value in art does not necessarily align with what artists value in
Yeah,
Yeah.
making art, and
Yeah.
then it's like they think of it as like this commodity, this thing they can make.
Yeah.
It's like if they can whittle that down to like this push button process, that's satisfying to them in some way, but it just takes out all of the soul of like or the process or the beauty of sitting and making something. And it's like, why would you
Yeah.
want to whittle it down to that? That just removes that human impulse to create.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I don't really get it. So
I think
it's hard to
I think
relate.
for a lot of people, it's kind of like how some people are afraid of math or they don't want to read. Is that their exposure to art and like art class as kids is you do the thing for the assignment and like, oh, now we have to
Yeah.
draw on crayon or whatever.
It's
now.
been ruined.
Yeah, there is
for
definitely
now.
part
It's
of
not
that,
about
like,
it's not about like encouraging the kids like, here's some ways to express yourself, here are the tools that people have developed to do it, either the medium or the form or anything like that. And like fundamentally, art is a matter by which you can take some thought you have and communicate it to other people. Either that's through language or colors or dance or music. And by not encouraging people to like explore that for themselves and find what works for them, and devaluing that process into something that you just purchase, not appreciate as like a thing that you might even be able to do. Like maybe you can't animate. I mean, that's fine, but maybe you like to sculpt, or maybe you just like to tap dance or anything like that, and those are all great and good forms of expression, basically. And I think if people don't have like a way of contextualizing art as something that is for you, that somebody cannot take away from you, it's like that's fundamental to you, then yeah, you're gonna have people think of it as just like, oh, it's just like making a burger at McDonald's, right? You know, they're not gonna think of it outside of those terms, because it's always framed in such a way where that's a thing you buy.
Yeah,
not a
there
thing
is
you,
an aspect of art education that makes it seem like it is this sort of rote process of like, well, memorize the importance of this and how to do this, and then you know, it's like, and sort of like that essay you were describing having to write before too, where it's like, is this really actually going to move me forward in like my artistic journey or whatever? It's, you know,
it's
is
like
it actually progress?
Yeah,
am I actually learning anything here? Like that's like applicable? It's, you know, and I think that's a failure of like educational systems in general.
There's something really important about the kind of art that people consume that I learned. There was this quote I heard like ages and ages ago about the guy who drew Spawn, of all things, and he would basically, it was that like kids would like read a Spawn comic and they would look at it and go like, oh, I can do this, you know, like it wasn't so rendered out, and so like there's a level of polish that goes into like something that is commercially made
Spawn?
art. Yeah, Spawn, like the
Seth
comic.
MacFarlane?
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane.
Todd
Oh my God, Todd McFarlane. Sorry, I apologize.
Spawn,
Don't worry,
Spawn, but it's all Family Guy style.
Has Family Guy made that joke yet? They must.
There's
have.
gotta be one.
Maybe.
There's gotta be.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was basically. There's something about like giving kids, especially like something that they can look at and like emulate a little bit, and they don't feel like threatened by it. They're not like, oh, this is too much. Like I can't, you know, it's like overwhelming. Giving them something that they can kind of, you know, like play around with and be like, oh, I can do this, and have, you know, that kind of like play aspect of it gets lost with a lot of like higher production stuff. And when everything, if you feed someone nothing but like this high-end production stuff, like yeah, you could end with like some film head guy who's like knows every amazing movie ever, but you could also end up with someone who just looks at that and is like super like, you know, overwhelmed by that. And
They
it's
think
important
that
to have
it's not a
stuff
movie unless it looks like that. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It like, you can make your own thing, and it doesn't have to look like we're making cartoons here, and we're, you know, it's like and it doesn't have to look like, you know, something out of Disney. I know that us doing Lackadaisy, that's literally kind of what we're making it look like, but at the same time, I don't think that's the only way to make a cartoon. It's one reason why I wanted to even have Shop Talk, is to feature other people who have other ways of doing things, and because I think that's incredibly inspirational. There are other people's approaches to things. It inspires, and inspires even the people who are making the stuff that everybody goes, oh wow, that's so polished and that's the only way to do things. It's like, meanwhile, us who are working on those things look at everybody else and go, wow, I love what that guy does. Look at the economy of that, or I love how they came to that decision.
Something that needs to like die is this idea that like to make art, it has to be like perfect. It has to be like totally like there's only like a right way to, dude, the best art is the really sloppy, messily made stuff that like it got made, you know, by every account, like something like shouldn't have existed. There were like a billion things that could have gone wrong, but someone actually sat down and just made it, and that's beautiful. That's cool.
I would rather watch something. Go ahead.
I like noticed among young artists, and I'm one of those artists who, like, you start out at a young age like looking up to this stuff that's like really rendered and like almost photorealistic. Like, that's what an artist is. That's like the epitome of art, right? And you like and you start trying to like aim yourself toward that, and like in order to be a serious and good artist, you must be able to paint like the masters. You must be able to paint photorealistically. But it's like, but then you mature and you realize, wait a minute,
like, get out of that art student brain.
It's like, that isn't the epitome of art. That's the epitome of being able to paint realistically. But that's like, there's so many other ways to do art, and so many, and in some ways, like, I think like that's a testament to somebody's like technical skill, but it's not a testament to their artistry or creativity necessarily. Like to just paint something that you see in a photo or whatever. It's like, and do it exactly or perfectly or whatever. It's like to actually take what's in your head and translate it in some way is a far more interesting thing, because it comes out looking very different from anything you see.
And that a lot of art is even like that translation between what's in your head and what's in your eye, and like what you see and how you see it and how that's translated. Because it's like you could take a photo, and a photo is a photo, but then if you ask 5 people to stand in the exact same spot and paint the exact same landscape that was taken from the photo, they will all come out looking different, and they will look very different than the photo. And that's just because of features of like how your smartphone camera is set up and stuff, maybe what they chose to emphasize in the composition, maybe what medium they chose. But even if you try to like make everything else totally the same, like even if you gave them all the same camera, they would still take a slightly different picture. And that alone is just fascinating. There's something about art where you learn something about the person or people making it in a way and how they perceive the world. That is just really, really interesting. Like a story is more than a story. A story is how somebody views the world. And you kind of get to glimpse a little bit into their brain. It's not a one-to-one, where it's like, oh yeah, we have these characters doing these terrible things. That must be a bad person who also wants to do like a lot of crime. It's like, no. I mean, maybe, but no.
Not usually.
Not usually, no.
I mean, I think if you have a healthy relationship with your own creative output, it isn't something that you're using to just spout. Like, it's not like your characters aren't all like these self-inserts that are just spouting your
Make yourself,
philosophy.
but don't go crazy. Don't go insane.
Yeah.
But I'd say that one of the differences between AI art and even just a camera is if you put in this exact same prompt, each of those 5 people will get the exact same image. Because it's not them really making the decision, it's the algorithm is taking those combination of words.
Well, maybe you're just a bad prompt artist. You need to spend more time
yeah.
getting good at
I need to get
prompt
better.
art.
I need to imbue I need to emphasize to the computer through psychic understanding that it needs to make those tits 10% bigger and not 30% bigger, because I don't play that way. It's like, it just doesn't look right.
Gonna insert
you need to brush up on your
tips.
prompt jockeying. Yeah.
into cartoonists, but it's okay.
Neuralink AI.
Cartoonists.
They're gonna thaw out Walt Disney's frozen head and put a Neuralink in it, and then just hook that up to Disney Plus, and you can just watch his thoughts stream 24/7. They won't make movies anymore. That's all you need.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to more questions. So again from Dead Dan.
Okay.
All right. Again from Dead Dan. Actually, go ahead, Newt. You want to be the question guy? You're the question guy. Go for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say another $5 from Dead Dan 2. Thank you very much, Dan. Another question for a aspiring content creator: what software programs are best to use to practice and hone your animation skills? Any recommendations?
Ooh, okay. So I'm a huge shill for Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint is my favorite animation program currently, just because it's like it's not a perfect program, but I think it's the easiest program to learn if you're coming off of just like a regular illustration program. And there's still like a few features that could be added. Like for instance, there's no audio scrubbing in the timeline, which is like I think is the biggest detriment to it. But it's got like you can use all the brushes you would normally use to like make an illustration, and you have like vector layer capabilities, so you have like very easy ways to edit your line art if you're ever inking, and that's the program that I like the most, and I think it's the easiest to use just for beginners. I've heard good things about TV Paint too. I think it's kind of similar in that way, where it's like it's kind of like Photoshop, but like with more animation capabilities. That's what I would recommend.
Stronger raster-based programs are those two.
I have a recommendation for background painting too. In addition to Photoshop, don't be a slave to Adobe. Rebel. Rebel is really good. Is a really good program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it? Rebel?
Yeah, REBELLE. It's got a really good emulation of
Is,
Yeah.
Is Procreate,
Really good
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say it's got a really good emulation of like traditional media, more so than any other program I've seen, and it's being regularly updated, and it's a very reasonable price. So I mean, it's pretty dry.
And it's a once-off purchase.
Yeah, it's a once-off purchase, so you're not having to. Pay
that's
for
also
it.
very good.
Yeah, that's always a
Avoid
bonus.
subscriptions.
The subscription thing is.
I do think it's also important to say that if you're an aspiring animator, the program you use is genuinely like the last thing that matters. If you want to be a good animator, you need to be good at drawing first and foremost. So you should be drawing pencil on paper. That's the program you should get.
I remember.
I will actually
you
say,
can
get
little flip pads and just like animate that way. You don't really need like
Absolutely.
a fancy, sophisticated piece of software to get started learning the basics of animation.
That said, I will
the-
say that if the program you're using is just a nightmare and you just can't, you're not having fun drawing it, and it's just frustrating, and it doesn't matter how much you learn it, it's just, this is a nightmare, it's destroying my work. You don't have to keep using that. Flash. Anyway.
Yeah.
I remember on episode 1 of Satina, there was a shot with Lucia coming out of the ground, and I was trying so hard to like animate that shot in Clip Studio, and at some point I just like went like, okay, this isn't working, and I just started animating on paper.
Nice.
And
that shot was animated on paper. It's crazy.
And I see this question a lot in these types of like talks of like, oh, what program should I use? Look, Frankenstein that stuff, okay? Just use whatever you think is like the most convenient. Like use free stuff. Just when someone watches like something, like they're not going to see the tools you use, they're just going to see the results. So just focus on getting the result out of whatever you're using.
If we're genuinely talking shop talk here for people who are genuinely looking into the, I mean, you look at like, look, I'm not going to speak for Lackadaisy. I'm sure that they run a much tighter ship, but like with Satina, the entire production is a goddamn mess from start to finish. Like every shot is its own set of problems. You'll find some error. You'll be like,
That's
oh,
just
this
called
frame isn't colored
filmmaking.
correctly.
That's just
Well, it's just
mean,
look. I didn't want to be like, by the way, animation is a fucking chaotic mess, and then
It
you guys
is.
are like, no, we do it pretty well. I don't want. I just
I feel like
I don't want-
our biggest challenge is trying to find all the ways in which it goes horribly, horribly wrong and standardizing things, because about half the time something will go horribly wrong, so you're just trying to minimize the number of times that happens.
Probably like 75% of making an animated film is problem solving and troubleshooting.
Yes, dude. Like
Yeah.
you're like
Yes.
every time we think we're done, there's like we watch the whole thing and we're like, oh my god, we're gonna have to spend so many months just fixing errors, and it sucks.
Okay,
Yeah.
but let me just. Your mindset should be, when you're trying to make, if you're making your first animation, you've got some friends together, you're working on something, and you run into a problem. Don't think, oh, we don't know what we're doing or whatever. Try and solve the problem. The only time there's an issue is if you keep making the same mistake over and over again.
Yeah.
It's okay
Exactly.
to, like, when we say that, like, our pipeline is in shambles, it's not like it's always like that. It's just, once we make a mistake, we know how to not make that mistake anymore.
Yeah.
But you're going to run into so many issues. That's basically what I know I joke, but, like, my job is basically just fixing all the problems that come up.
Basically.
Yep.
Problem
I'm like this. I'm like the CTO of Scum House. I'm like the whenever there's like a technical issue, I'm the one who has to figure out why
If
something
we
isn't
didn't
rendering.
do that,
or...
like it's like, look, every cartoon is riddled with errors. It just is. We can see more than you can, but it would be so much more full of problems if we didn't take the time to go, okay, how do I fix that? Okay, how do we prevent that from ever happening again? Okay, why did the program crash? Okay, why did the computer explode? All these things.
Yeah.
It happens. It just happens. So
Yeah, some things are predictable and you try to mitigate their recurrence, and other things it's just like random shit just becomes an issue. Like After Effects doesn't want to render this like sparkles or some shit one day, or it's just like crazy
oh my
stuff.
god,
It keeps making the goat noise.
Remember when it decided that for some reason the teaser trailer took longer to render than almost any other
entire
thing
pilot.
of the pilot. Like it was insane, and we were like, why does this keep happening? it's like there's nothing that insane going on. Everything has been optimized, and we realized it was because there was a noise filter on top of the backgrounds that was keeping the program from properly compressing things. And that one thing of a noise filter on static backgrounds was making the entire program take 10 to 50 times longer to render any given scene than it otherwise would have. And we were like, okay, no more noise layer on anything anymore. This is ridiculous. It took us the entire render. It took us everything. The entire production of the teaser to finally understand why this was happening. We thought that there was just some remarkable unluckiness going on, or somebody's computer was breaking, but no, it was just the program, and it took that long to figure out. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like that. Like as soon as you've worked on anything, any large scale project where you have like more than 5 or 6 people, sometimes you may have 100 people working on something, like whether it's a game or animation or something like that. You come to realize partway through, it's amazing and a miracle that anything ever gets finished. And it makes you appreciate the work other people do a whole lot more. Like, I, spent a lot of time in my 20s criticizing movies and being a real snob about it, and I feel bad about it. That doesn't stop. I still do it, but I also at the end of the day I have to say, like, they made a thing, and that is like the important thing. At the end of the day, sometimes it's like you did the thing.
I will also say, like, I will forever be more charmed by something
it's
that
so much
is
easier to have an idea than to make
flawed,
something.
but made with all sincerity and passion and like Birdemic was made by a guy who just genuinely believed in what he was saying, and all of its charm is because it is so sincere. No, it's not a good movie, but there's something fun about watching something where someone's just that committed to it versus the most polished, mediocre AAA movie that you see in the theaters that's just instantly forgettable. Even if it's like, even if it's like objectively a better movie, still leaves your brain faster than fucking Birdemic. Because it's just, it leaves an impression. So even if you're like, well, I can't do it as good as blah, it's like, who cares? Go have fun. Like, go have some fun.
Dude.
Don't ever worry about like as good as. That's like the worst metric of all. It's it's subjective to begin with, but like it's really the uniqueness of your own idea and vision, and just lean into your weirdness and your quirks and stuff, and that's what's going to set you apart. And being set apart is the important thing, not being the best, quote unquote, because that's just a nebulous idea anyway. It doesn't mean anything. So it's like, lean into what makes your stuff sincere and genuine and yours. Even if some you pitch it to somebody and they say, well, we don't know how to market that. It's like,
and remember,
well, good, because
it doesn't have to be the best thing you ever made either. Like, you can go, okay, well, that sucked, and then go make something else. Like, even if it's just like a flawed mess where there was all kinds of problems, and so long as you're like, I want to make another one, then you know that you'll have another opportunity to make something again. So
making a terrible project with your friends is still a lot more fun than just not doing that.
Much fun.
Yes.
Like, I'm being serious. Like, making mistakes is the most important. I wouldn't even say like, don't worry about what you're making. Just make something. Like with Satina, there was never any thought of like why we were making it. It is just, we think it's cool. We want it to exist. We're gonna make it. Come hell or high water. And then when it was out, we were like, oh, what do we do now? Do we sacrifice like every aspect of our life to just keep making one 15-minute episode a year for
why not?
Money whatsoever? Like, I'm sure that's what what people would have wanted over the current pace that we're going now. But I mean, I think we're all Lars, myself, Hannah, and Arnold are all finding just like stability in our lives and trying to just get things out as fast as possible.
And a majority of our fans, like I found that like a majority of like my fan base, not just like people who happen to watch our videos, but like people who stick around and are subscribers and stuff. A majority of them are very understanding and wonderful, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we love Satina, like take your time.
That's
like
why we're saying
whenever I uploaded that,
the dollar actually matters a lot. Like,
as someone who updated a webcomic at a snail's pace for many years, I'm forever grateful for the readers who stuck around, and it's generally the people who are most interested in it who do. So it
weeds out the
weeds out the people who are going to come along and demand that you know, sacrifice your well-being and health and ability to just
for what at the end of the day is
live a life
a
away from
cartoon that they watch
Yeah.
for free.
Right,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
weird how the people who absorb a thing for free are the most demanding out of your audience.
It is funny
Yeah.
how
It
Yeah.
is worth remembering that like we're artists. Our art is like our life. We like spend a bunch of time just thinking about it. Most people watch it and they're like, cool. And then they move on with their
Right.
life. Like that's
Yeah.
just the reality.
What
you don't
is
have to
a-
be stressed out about it. People
Yeah.
have their own
Right.
lives.
Yeah, what is a 10 to 15 minute engagement for you is like multiple years worth of work for a bunch of other people who are putting this thing together. And so bear that in mind. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we had the Monkey Wrench people here, creators
Shop
here
Talk,
last
yeah.
month for the last shop talk, and they were talking about similar things where it's like you release an episode and then people are like, next day they're like, where's the next one? They're like, I can't draw this as fast as you can watch it, I'm sorry.
My hands
Oh, wouldn't it be
hurt.
great if we could do that,
Please.
though?
We
I'd
would
love
love to be able
sleep.
to do that, I assure you.
If I didn't have to eat, sleep, or heal, then yeah. Or go to
Even
the
then, we
bathroom,
wouldn't be able to do it that fast.
No, but it would be
Yeah.
great for me because then I wouldn't have to do anything other than make cartoons. I would love to
Yeah.
be able to, drop all bodily functions and make cartoons. Well,
Right.
I mean,
if I could deactivate my need to sleep, I would. I would just do art all the time, but I can't.
That's why we need self-driving cars like
Yes.
Teslas, because then you can
Like
animate on
Teslas.
the go.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, once again,
Yep.
I'm proving my
Once again,
point
this is
over
a
and
okay.
over again.
investment.
But I
Yeah.
would love to
I
have
hear
some
ya.
sort of like
Yeah.
VR glasses where I could just like draw as I'm walking around, like just have access to my computer like that. That'd be awesome. Draw wherever I go. I don't have to be locked to the computer. That said, actually, I like having my computer be my workstation. I set it up to be a pleasant to work in area. I say looking at the garbage surrounding me, which should probably clean up. But yeah,
I love my
Garbage
computer.
adds character. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Arnold, no, it doesn't. Clean your goddamn desk, dude. It's
Speaking
covered
of-
in little sprues from Warhammer 40k
Thank you.
grey
Ah.
plastic and like dried paint.
Thank you, Mare.
He says more for
Arnold,
your
you have-
Tesla.
For the Tesla.
Arnold,
yeah.
Arnold, how many mugs do you have on your desk right now that have dirty paint water in them?
2.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I try not to use the mugs because I go through those too quickly. I actually save my old scented candle jars and my weed
Oh.
jars, and I
Dude,
use the
drink coffee?
I use
Nice.
the
What?
okay, so my scented candle jars, you have a scented candle in like a glass jar, right? Well, if you get the wax
take your word
out,
for
you
it.
melt it away, you can use that to put water in, and you have a cap on top if it's one of those cap scented candles.
Dude,
And it's a lot
that is
sturdier.
that is
Yeah.
next level tech. Hannah gave
I
me one of
love
those
it.
as a gift, and I've just
Yeah.
had it. Oh man!
And then my
that's
weed
gonna be-
jars, I have discovered are really good inkwells because the cap that's on top of them, since they want to keep the weed fresh, in order to keep any moisture from getting out, it has to be sealable, right? And so the lid can seal, so you could put some ink in there or some water and carry it around with you in a jar. So there's a good use for all
Wait.
my weed jars.
Ain't no way, bro!
Yeah.
It actually
Arnold.
works.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So good.
This is a galaxy brain moment for Arnold.
Yes.
This is changing his life.
I discovered that. I was like, what do I have that would make a good inkwell? Oh, I mean, I would like to use this thing, but I don't have a cap for it. Wait a second. I have a weed jar hoard. I even gave one to one of my friends who was like interested in dip pens. I was like, here, use this. This is your inkwell now. Feel free to scrape off the label or be really edgy and keep it on. So everybody thinks you have like black tar for weed.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I inject that shit in my veins.
All right, next question. Speaking of tools, Liam Luther says, go ahead. Go ahead, Newt.
$5 from Liam Luther. While I think AI should stay, and this is in regards to the conversation we were having earlier. While I think AI should stay a good distance away from art, I don't think it will be the end of it. I think it will be used as a tool like Photoshop.
I think there is a place for. I mean, we did use AI on the pilot, and it was
What
in
we
the form
used.
of
Okay,
synth.
so let's reframe
It was a
that.
model
What
that we built, and it was
Right, so
entirely
we-
internal.
We
Yes.
No,
built
I'm just
our own
curious how
model.
you used it.
Yes.
We built our own model, and we made our own visual reference for the way we wanted the model to be stylized. And you can take something. EBSynth is a free tool to use, by the way,
Yes.
but you input your own art into it, and so it's not something that's like scraping somebody else's work.
No, it's
and
entirely
you can apply
internal.
that style to footage, basically, to individual frames of.
What did you apply it to? Sorry,
Okay,
I love EBSynth.
so-
I think it's a really cool program.
Yeah,
I want to know how you did
what
it.
we did was that the opening sequence, so we did a lot of tests with it to see like how robust it was, and it only really works within certain contexts. Sadly, actually, I wish this program was like a more robust, because it would be enormously helpful. But we used it for the opening, where you see that in the opening when the camera like pushes into the stage. So we have a 3D model set up for the Lackadaisy. That's what that is. But on top of that, the model that we have is not rendered by hand, per se. So what we did was that we took some select frames from the animation of the camera just pushing in, and we rendered out parts of that so that we could stitch it all together and give it a slightly more organic quality that would match how it looked in other things. And we also, kind of in service to the fact that EBSynth has this sort of jittery quality, because that's just, every program's going to do that. It's imperfect like that. We did a lot of tweaking. We did a lot of like smudging things around and stuff. But
Was this so that you could get the parallax on the pillars and stuff as you're going
while
for the face?
still looking
you need you need to get a laws.
A laws?
Like you need a laws. Yeah, you need to get one. You can't have ours. Sorry, he's busy with Satina.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you gotta get your own.
Oh, I thought that
A
was
Lars,
a program.
yeah.
Yes, a Lars.
Because
I was like, oh, there's something wrong with the EBSynth?
Parallax is his jam. He would have he paints like all in Satina, like all the like various assets. Like we love him, and I love playing around with like building fake 3D assets out of 2D planes.
Yeah, that's usually what we do.
Yeah.
Like every other as part of the production, that's what we did. But for that one,
this was an opening shot. We wanted to do something kind of special and different looking, to make it look like you were kind of moving through this like old photo, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of like a
but like. Yeah, so basically to summarize what it is we have like several frames of an animation, and the animation is of a camera moving through this 3D model that we had built of the speakeasy. And then we took individual frames and painted them in a style we wanted that to look. So we had like that raw 3D, and we wanted it to have this sort of painterly style. So we painted what the style we wanted it to look like on multiple frames, and then fed it into the into EBSynth and said, here, please apply this to all of our footage for this. And it attempts to do that. Sometimes in some ways it does really well, and it looks really cool, but then you'll have like things on the edge of the frames and stuff where information is just missing at intervals. Yeah, and it'll just fill it in with garbage. It'll just fill it in with noise. And so it just, you have to keep adding more paintings of your own to the process in order to make it understand what you want there. In
a sense,
so
like
at the end of the day, it would have been probably would have been faster to just apply a shader to the entire 3D scene we had, and then just have the camera move.
But by then we had already committed, and we were coming to the end of production. It's like we just don't have time to develop this. We're just going to commit to what we have. So there was better ways to do it, where frankly existing 3D technology would be able to do the same thing. But it was worth it to try EBSynth. I just wish it was stronger. But that's a good example of how AI tools could be tools. It's where you're feeding it something and it outputs something that you would otherwise have to put in a lot of manual labor to do the same thing over and over and over again. Those kinds of
I wouldn't even call
tasks.
that AI anymore. That's just automation.
Well, that's the thing,
Like
is that there
doing-
isn't actually anything such thing as AI.
Right, it's not
anyway,
the way we characterize AI as if it has its own motivation or something, or agency, but it really doesn't. It's just really just a sort of automation. Yeah, it's
what it really
like
is you're building your own filter. That's what EBSynth really is. It's just a way of creating your own filter. So yeah.
Like, for example, another ethical use of AI was the latest Spider-Verse film, which there are reservations to be made about other things on the Spider-Verse film, but that is not what this is addressing.
I thought it was the greatest animated film ever made. I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I'm told.
I
it's a
can't-
spectacular
yeah,
production.
I absolutely can recommend watching it, but if we get into the conversation about labor issues, we'll be here for another hour and just talking
Yep,
about that.
that's not what we're talking about here.
Right,
But,
just the AI use there.
but as far as the outlines of the characters, they built an in-house AI model to do the outline rendering on all of the 3D characters in every shot.
So, like, when you see line art on a character's nose, they originally drew those things by hand, and then what they did was they fed the information on how they drew those things into a computer with enough examples that was able to go, oh, this is how you handle that in general. They probably still had to do some manual tweaking, but if it can get at least, like, 25 or 33% of the work done, that's 33% of the work that you don't need to do. So, you know, that means that you can put more energy into other things, and you can maybe iterate more. Although, again, that creates its own issues. But anyway.
But then that also just comes because, like, what you just said now with like the line work. This actually ties into another question that I had with Lackadaisy, with your production, was when you talk about like, oh, there's like just certain things, like if say you were going to do it all hand drawn, like all the lines in Spider-Verse, that's a team of people that you have to get hire and then train, rather than one guy who's just feeding in the keyframes who knows the style, so to speak.
And it's like,
so what I want to know is,
so
one of the most visually distinct things about Lackadaisy is the construction lines that are like faded into the animation. I mean, I would say that's like almost like the calling card for Lackadaisy. Like, I saw that and I was like immediately like, that's fucking awesome.
I'm glad
But,
you think so. You get shit about that all the time.
But what I want to
that.
know is that did you have to because the thing is when we hire freelancers a lot, but it seems like everybody these days, especially if they're from different schools or whatever, they have different ways of. So like if we're going to do that with Satina, the construction lines would, like the way that the things would, like the rough animation would look different from shot to shot depending on who did it. So did you have like a process with how you taught people? Like, was there like a Lackadaisy code of like how to animate?
Yes, I can answer that. So part of my job as director is essentially also teaching people. And when it comes to something like that, you need to make sure that things are uniform, like more uniform than what Satina could probably get away with, because you guys have a very mushy-gushy style, which is way more conducive to individual personal touches. Ours are a little bit, we have to keep things a bit more on model. I allow our artists to go more off model than if it was a rig, because if it's so on model that you can't tell the difference between hand-drawn and like just copy-pasted stuff, then you might as well just make it a puppet, right? So there is some variation in there, and I had to pick and choose when I would correct things and how far. And a lot of the times it was just teaching people the model as best I could, and then deciding what needed to be corrected, if anything. Like if the ears were just too small, then it just kind of...
Oh, no. My question was about the construction lines themselves.
Oh, I'm getting to
with
that.
that effect. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so I'm getting to that. So the construction lines, though, there was two approaches. The pilot's approach was different than the teaser's approach. For the pilot's approach, we actually had the cleanup artists add those back in. So they would draw construction lines based on roughly how the character would have been constructed, and added that in, and then we just like faded that out. So it's on its own layer.
So that wasn't the actual rough animation layer. That was
not
done
the
like almost in post.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But for the teaser, it is the actual rough animation, because we found that to just be a bit more efficient, and because we started asking our animators to tie things down a little stronger so that it'd be easier for a cleanup team, and we had split cleanup between ink and paint at that point, and so we didn't just have one person do everything. We figured that it would be a good idea to just make use more of the material that the rough animators had already given us, since we had a much stronger idea of just how on model we needed things to be, and how smoothly to take things from rough to finished. So there wasn't as much discrepancy between how the rough animation might look and how the clean animation might look. That said...
With the construction line layer.
Yes. Yeah, because if the cleanup crew had to make a bunch of model corrections, the rough animation wouldn't be very useful for giving that like sketchy look that was reminiscent of the era that we're calling back to. But
I have to jump. Yeah. Can I jump in real quick? I have a question about this. I heard somebody say that you were catching shit for leaving or
people thought that we forgot to erase the lines.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments that are like,
okay.
you accidentally left the lines in. How come I can see the lines?
Oh, they forgot to color
How silly.
it in.
How embarrassing.
I think it actually took us extra work to put those in, but they're like...
We thought that, they left in the lines by accident because it's just the pilot. They didn't have enough money.
I'm absolutely ashamed. I'm absolutely ashamed I'll admit it, but when Lackadaisy first came out, I was like, "Oh, this is blowing. I'm gonna look at it. I didn't know you guys at that point, unfortunately, but I was like, "Oh, this is blowing up. I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna be super cynical." And I looked at it and I clicked literally halfway through, saw the lines, and I went, "Huh, these idiots! They forgot to turn. What a gratuitous error!" And then I saw immediately it was a style thing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. That's okay. I'm an idiot."
No, I actually don't mind all the comments where people are trying to call us out on that because. Here's the cynical thing about YouTube. They're just adding to engagement. So I was like, sure, fine, complain about the lines, whatever. It makes the robot go, oh, people really love commenting on this. We should recommend it more.
No, that's true. I don't want to sit here and go, oh, what idiots, what fools. How could they not immediately tell it was
people
a style? When I immediately saw that, I was like,
yeah. But yeah.
No, it's fine. I think it's, even if you didn't like it, I think the fact that you cared that much is just like, oh, awesome. Like,
it's our love letter.
Look, I don't think I'll ever care enough about anything ever in my life to leave a YouTube comment.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
When was the last time you left a YouTube comment that wasn't on a friend's animation going like, guys, this looks great,
I mean,
like someone you knew?
You are currently on a live stream on YouTube full of people leaving comments, so these are the people that leave comments. So, folks, why do you guys, what motivates you guys to leave a comment?
This is a live chat. This is different. Live chat is different.
That's actual interaction, but like comments.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know. I love the comments.
I think it's, it's cool.
Look, I'm sorry if I made a controversial statement. I take
No, are you kidding? I love this topic.
No, I just mean that if you want to leave a comment that is like super, like I love that, it's awesome. Trust me, that's great. But if you're leaving like vicious, it's just useless. Like probably most of the time they're not going to see it, and if they did, you just hurt their feelings. Like,
well, that is the point, largely.
Yeah,
that's what they want. That said, sometimes we get a nasty comment where it's like someone trying to be mean, and I just laugh and laugh because it's like the funniest fucking thing that I've read all week. And they have no idea.
The people who are like, you furries. It's like, oh, is it 2006 again or something? Like,
that's gay. It's like, yes,
you come here from something awful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, more questions. Let's keep going.
Let's get more questions.
Newt, give me another.
Thank you, Marv. Thank you, Marv, for your multiple donations now towards the Tesla Fund.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see, what have we got? We've got $5 from The One. How would a child Tracy or a child Hannah react to being shown their respective pilots? Are we going to be able to meet some of the animators during the next live stream? Well, to the latter part, I think we have the animators on stream.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they mean for Lackadaisy rather than... Because we're not going to be on the next stream.
But you're talking to one of the animators right now. You've got enough. We invite the crew to come on, but it's their choice whether or not they want to pop on to Shop Talks or any other streams.
We do work streams often during... Well, we did during the pilot production. We would just stream while we were working and answer questions, and a lot of animators came in and dropped by to say hello during those sessions. So we'll probably resume doing that again once we get into the thick of the rough animation work, cleanup work, and stuff on Lackadaisy episodes.
Yeah, if I have like character sheets and stuff that I'm working on where I'm giving notes, that's probably the kind of thing that you're gonna see more near term here right now. Because we're in the thick of so much pre-production that's the best stuff I could show off visually. So, but yeah, I'm trying not to flood the channel too much at the moment with other streams. I'm sure some people are probably a little frustrated, like, where's the next cartoon? I don't mean to see these streams. It's like, I'm sorry, we are working on it. It just takes a while, but we got to feed YouTube something in the meantime. and we are actually even working on smaller things so that we can feed YouTube
Yeah,
something
and we
faster.
like talking to other animators because that's how we do our socializing.
It's like if we're frustrating you, go patronize these guys. Go watch Satina.
If we don't talk to other people who do this too, we'll go insane.
Yeah. Please entertain yourselves with these guys.
Regain perspective and make sure we're not like losing it. You know, talking to other
We're all in
animators
the
and be
same
like, hey,
purgatory.
we're yeah, exactly.
Go watch Fazar. There's way more episodes of Fazar than there is of Satina. So if
That's
you
right,
want
and they
time,
get
if
them
you've got time to
outcasted probably.
kill, they get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go watch that. It's way better anyway.
There's so many cartoons coming out. There's a lot of indie animation coming out. I mean, go watch Digital Circus if you. I mean, everybody's watched that.
Oh my God,
I
Digital
love
Circus! Digital Circus just cementing that apparently every indie animation needs to have Michael Kovac in it now.
I mean,
I'm gonna be just like absolutely real. Like, I think Digital Circus is like my favorite indie pilot. Like, just it's probably the closest to my sense of humor of anything that's come out. So.
I sent Goose a message and I was like, okay, is it Tron or is it Soma? Goose won't tell me. Bastard.
I'm just very happy to see more indie 3D stuff specifically. Like I know that also did that Murder Drone show. I haven't seen it, but like it's a cool medium that I want to see more. Like not just Pixar, not just hyper realistic video game stuff. Like
a lot of indie animators are kind of snobbish about 3D. They're like, oh, it's, 2D is always better, but like you can do cool stuff with 3D too.
Kind of
it's a lot of it is
salt. Make your own 3D show.
A lot of it is salt because Disney decided to dismantle their 2D studio, their 2D
Oh yeah, no,
process
for sure.
In
like
favor
you can be
of 3D, so I think it's like leftover salt for that. But that said, like I've done 3D animation both for Lackadaisy and also actually one of my first animated shorts was a 3D thing, which I will not show because it is garbage. I shit you not, it is garbage. It was made in like 2005 or something. It's not watchable. But I have a lot of respect for it as a medium, and what I am excited about seeing more 3D indie stuff is how much more interesting it will get. So most of my contention with 3D is how repetitive it gets. And it's like, if you guys are charmed by Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots and things like that, indie is gonna get way more interesting than that because.
And I got three indie shows that are doing 3D that I want to recommend right now.
Go
that
for
I think
it, buddy.
All
Check them out.
Look, there's a cool one, Necro Nancy 64. It's not getting as much love as I think it should. It's a very cool little sort of low poly.
It's Necro Nancy with an N, like the name Nancy.
That's a cool name.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go look that one up. All right, what else we got?
Video pics. That one is if you want to see like someone take like Tony Hawk style like low poly models and then just do like the most insane smears in 3D doing the coolest stuff.
Is that with an X or a PIC?
With an X.
An X. Okay.
PIX. Yeah.
Yes.
Arnold, write it on the stream, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, write it on the canvas if you have room.
I can write it up actually. I got OBS here.
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
Nice,
and then that one is just a lot of very experimental stuff. I don't know if the guy is still making it. I think he kind of like stopped a couple of years ago, but it is like I want to say like 40 minutes of like really cool like 3D animation. And then there was this one a few years ago called Yuki 7. Same design team behind that that Powerpuff Girls short from a few years ago, Dance
Pants.
How
do you spell that? Yuki, so Y-U-K...
Y-U-K-I-7. Yeah, and that came out a couple of years ago, I want to say, but it's about like this secret spy, and it's just like visually, it's going for like a very different thing from like the usual 3D stuff. Like I said, it's like very similar to that Powerpuff Girls short visually.
The text color probably needs to change, Fable. So
no, I'm getting it. Don't worry, I'm doing it.
Okay.
And I mean, those are the three. I had it written down somewhere that I wanted to like show those because I want more indie stuff that's just like in 3D doing cool stuff to get some love.
My this one's pretty well known, but one of my closest friends, Shippage, has been making his Starter Squad series for a long time, which is that 3D animated Pokemon show. It's been on YouTube for years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Write that down. How do I spell that? How do I spell that, Dave?
What, Starter Squad?
Oh, just Starter Squad? Okay.
Yeah, you spell it Starter Squad.
Oh, that's right. That was the thing where you did some voice acting for that one.
I was a laughing stool. And I don't mean like I don't mean like a giggling turd. I mean an actual like you know, sit upon.
Okay, well now I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I should have led you down the path.
You should have voiced the pool.
All right, we'll put all those up so everybody can take a look at that. Because yeah, animators, it's if you're ever like, what's a good thing, and you can always just ask people who make stuff like, hey, what's good to watch? We probably know a ton of things. That's one reason why, again, I want to do Shopcock, because we know all these people that other people don't know, and you guys got to go watch this stuff.
One points out that we didn't actually answer the question, which was...
Shoot. How would you react to seeing your own work as a kid? How do you think the child version of you would react? Yeah.
I would probably be like, why does this take place in hell? Hell is evil! Because I was very religious as a child.
It's scary.
Scary! Why would I do this? No, I think it's cool.
Yeah, same. I would be pretty excited, I think.
Pretty stoked.
Yeah.
I
spent a lot of my childhood being told art isn't a job. You can't do that for a job. What's wrong with you? You know.
I want to see little Tracy just be like, "Cats don't talk. That's dumb."
No, little Tracy was very into talking cats also.
Definitely do the kind of stuff that
Good
child
taste.
you would be like, yes, I will watch this, at least some of the time. I bet.
Yeah, it's like
was
all
young
of
Tracy-
Lackadaisy is like very indulgent. So like
Yeah.
you know, it's just like a mix of the shit I was into since I was a kid. So you know.
So wait, when you were a kid, you were like, yes, Prohibition era, 1920s
yeah, I
America,
was-
that's my jam. Really? Like from that young?
I was into like history, like historical fiction and things
She's
like
not
that.
What
even
was
that
it
much of an
about- 'cause
outlier. I was.
I've
into
got
the
my own
Dust Bowl
personal
for some
reasons
reason.
for really loving the 1920s Prohibition era, because it's what birthed drag racing and NASCAR, which I don't feel is probably a shared sentiment. But
No,
what is about
no,
what is
that's
about the
just- yeah,
1920s?
people
Did
love
you?
that stuff, Yeah.
It wasn't specifically the 20s. It was more turn of the century, like late 1800s.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, like you know, Victorian, Edwardian stuff. But I ended up picking the 20s because I moved into this area that has like a lot of brewing history, and I just started discovering and I bought an old house here because I like love old shit like that. I mean, old by American standards, like by
Art
European
Deco
standards,
old,
like,
not like
Art Deco old, yeah, like
yeah.
like the house is a Victorian era house, and so I started researching like the local history about it and trying to find out like who lived here and who built the house and things like that. And I didn't actually find out who built the house. Unfortunately, that like the records just don't seem to exist because it just wasn't an important piece of property. But I did find like all kinds of other interesting stuff that just led me down this rabbit hole of like, oh, I like this thing is connected to this thing and that thing is connected to that, and oh, there's like these caves underground that the city was using because it was a brewing town, or it was a brewing town because of these caves that were underneath it, and that was just like rife for like storytelling.
When you say
stuff,
a brewing
so.
town, do you mean an illicit brewing town, like an underground?
No,
like,
it was
shrine-
like prior to Prohibition.
prior. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like St. Louis was, you know, the home of a lot of different breweries, including Anheuser-Busch, that predated.
So what happened to this town when Prohibition hit?
Bad things. I mean, some good things too, but like it's nothing's ever like a blanket good or bad, right? Like any complex. You know,
Well, if it's a
topic
brewer's town, then everyone was out of a job all of a sudden.
a lot of
I'm
people
just
were out of
curious
a job.
Yeah.
But in other ways, they like
They got creative.
they just like they had this like they did improvisational things, like come up with near beers and things where they like the breweries would be able to stay in business by selling like Bevo and stuff like that.
Bevo.
Yeah, and some of them switched to making like there were distilleries that switched to making medicinal whiskey, which is apparently a thing, but they got a pass, and were able to continue.
No.
I want some
It's
medicinal.
Medical marijuana.
Yeah. No, and the church was still able to have wine as a sacrament, and like and certain other places, like there's this whole like story about the Lemp Brewery here and their downfall, which is pretty compelling. That came largely, I mean, a lot of it happened because of Prohibition. They just fell on hard times, and their facility ended up being taken over by a shoe factory at one point. It is now this semi-abandoned campus of all these fascinating buildings, and there's actually some parts of it that have been revamped into art studios that you can like rent out and stuff. It's just a really cool place. But but yeah, it's like just a mix of really interesting stuff. And you just kind of like, I don't know, there's so many things and so many things to get interested by or hooked on, but you just kind of like, I don't know, if you just zero in on something, you find so many interesting stories about that. And then you find out how it connects to other things that have happened. Like when you learn history in school, it's so rote, it's so like
so this happened, so it's like it's so A to B,
you're memorizing names and dates and shit, and you don't really you don't get to understand the way that
it sprawls. You know what I mean? Like there's this network rather than this direct line.
And then how connected your current existence and the nature of the culture around you and everything is just so directly connected in so many different ways. There's all these threads that just connect it right to that past.
So jumping off of that, Tracy. So Hannah, what about hell inspired you? Because you actually said that you were very religious as a kid, so partially this is a joke, but also partially it is funny how many people I've known who had a very religious upbringing, and then they grew up to be like, yeah, fucking demons, let's go. Why not?
I think it's like I'm not like choosing hell as a subject to be like edgy or anything. Like, oh yeah, I'm like rebelling against God. Fuck God. It's just kind of like a compelling concept to me. Like the mythology of heaven and hell and like angels and demons and like battles and like their lore and like how they operate in their respective worlds and stuff. I always thought it was interesting to like kind of take that lore and like make it like put my own spin on it. And I think that's what's appealing about hell to a lot of other like people who are creative as well. So that's what I always say, because like there's so many.
It's like just like history is like the playground for fantasy lore.
Yeah. It's just like it's like vague enough where you can kind of like be like, oh, what if hell or heaven or whatever operated this way? Like you can kind of do a lot of things with that because there's room for interpretation.
That's a lot of intellectual smokescreen for I wanted to draw a big mom.
So I want to draw a thick
I didn't even draw Lucia for any particular reason. I just drew her to like serve the purpose of being the mom, and then people are like, oh, whoa,
wait, so she wasn't comedically large initially?
No, she was. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that like people who are not familiar with me, like some people think I'm like a self-insert of Dave. They're like, this person like wanted to draw like draw themselves like fucking the big mommy GF, and I'm like, no, that's not.
No, that's just what you. It was. You're just projecting yourself.
No, that's just that's just me. Lucy's me.
No, that's me, Dave.
Like write about what interests you. Like focus on the stuff that is deeply interesting to you, because that's what's going to keep you interested in making more of it. Because it's hard. But and you can come up with whatever post hoc rationalizations for why you did it, and then you can like like intellectualize it to death really. After the fact.
That Hannah actually secretly loves Big Mama, but you drew her big for a reason, I suppose.
Let people psychoanalyze your motivations. It's fine.
Look, one of the rules of comedy is changing the size of something to like, so an incredibly tiny thing and an incredibly large thing is just inherently funny. Her being comedically that much bigger than Dave, and then because you look at that and you go, oh, they had a kid, immediate joke, visually great joke. That's as far as genuinely that's as far as it went. Is it's funny that she's that large.
It is, and it's funny that she's this powerful being as well, and he's just this schmo.
He's a tiny little guy.
It's you look at it and you're like, so how did that happen? In the same way as
exactly
Chihuahua Great Dane mix, you go, okay, how did that happen? You can't help but ask the question.
Look,
it is innately it's the start of a good story. You know?
It's
one of the benefits of being within the Scum House inner circle is that I've seen the drawings. I've seen the detailed illustrations.
the mechanic. You saw the
how this
blueprints?
works.
Okay.
Nobody
the
will
diagrams.
know.
Yeah.
What
Yes,
we
the
call
the lengthy diagrams.
what we call the city normies. The
CT
certain things
normies.
that the city normies, you're never gonna see this. This is just for us. Unless
It's privileged
Internal-
Unless you
unless
donate
you donate to our
$100,000.
highest
We'd have
tier
like a-
on
Yeah,
Patreon.
highest tier on
Seriously,
Patreon to
just
get
do
the detailed.
It's $100,000. It's a little more than the amount of my student debt. If you can
There you
eradicate
go.
my student
If you
debt,
can-
I
if
will
you can-
animate
if
a
you can
9-minute
believe
long.
it, the coincidentally,
documentary about
the budget for
just-
for the Dave X Lucia episode just so happens to match precisely with Hannah's student debt.
You know,
Ignore the-
what you should
$70,000.
do- Here's
Guys,
my
guys,
challenge to you,
guys.
Hannah. You could set one of your Patreon goals to be at this level. If we earn this much per month, we will start working on the Satina Gets the Talk episode.
When that happens, no. Not only that, we're gonna make it a visual novel, like a
Yes.
dating sim Rempire game. Like you will get to subsume the role of Dave and vicariously
Very
live through
immersive.
him. It's very
You'll
immersive.
get Mass Effect style dialogue.
We're
out
in
there.
talks with Mark Zuckerberg. We're including the metaverse. Okay.
Yeah, of
It'll
course
be
we're
an
including
just-
the metaverse.
Whoa,
We're
whoa, whoa,
just-
whoa! You want people to donate, not donate. you need to encourage them.
You will
Guys.
get to. And the cool thing is that if you unplug yourself in the middle of, you'll get trapped in the Satinaverse, like Sword Art Online. It'll be really cool.
Forced to make love to Lucia.
You
every
can
waking
only
moment of
leave
your life.
once you've impregnated the Big Mom. That's the only time you can leave. That's the point. It's like Tron.
There we go.
Okay, so we're gonna have to
It's just like
message
Tron.
Goose and be like, "I have a new pitch for you."
Satitron.
like an ARG built
Yeah.
into it. Like,
Yeah.
Sure. Why
Dead
not?
Dan, another $2. Thank you, Dan. Asks, will angel characters be in future episodes of Satina?
We have concepts for angel characters and heaven.
Aw.
But I will not say
Oh.
anything else at the moment. You'll just
I
have
will.
to find out for yourself. What? What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna tell them everything, Hannah.
No!
You gotta
You
drop
wouldn't
the
dare.
hot sauce, dude.
Mute him!
Look, if you want to know,
Chicken.
whenever the four of us discuss law, it's always the answer isn't would it be cool. It's always would it be funny? Like, wouldn't this be funny? So
Funny little show.
I
the
appreciate
funny
that.
little
Yeah.
yeah. So like we're not trying to create some like deep down law. It's just man, it would be really funny if that happened.
Like, how do we make heaven funny? That's
I mean, that's what makes it feel like this sort of like slice of life thing, even though,
Yeah,
regardless of the fantastical hell elements and everything, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get we do get a huge kick out of implying that there's this like astronomical eternal battle for good and evil happening in the background, but we're just focusing on like Satina's picture day, or Satina learns to ride a bike. You know what I mean? Like it's like just the mundane parts of growing
baseball
up.
or like
It's
right.
like the
Mikey Spike
anti-comedy of
says,
it.
"Didn't you
Yeah.
say you were gonna make Lucia body pillows? That should be another Patreon goal." Essay.
Oh,
Oh yes,
genuine-
no,
Yeah.
that's going to be a raffle. I think.
Yeah, so we're launching our own merch store very soon. Touch
very
wood.
soon.
But
Ooh.
instead of, because here's the thing though, is that everyone we talk to, they're like, yo, your fans say they want body pillows, but it's only psychopaths who buy. Well, no, it's only the really big fans that buy them. Let me pick
that
my
out,
words.
yeah.
Then-
Yeah, don't
can you-
insult our fans.
Please edit that out. Please edit that out when you
I'm
when you
afraid this
upload
is
The
this.
fine.
only the top tier
Um,
fans.
Yeah.
Only very
but-
cool and handsome fans.
No, but it's just
Yeah,
that
yeah,
most people won't. Like if they buy a Lucia, it's like, haha, I bought this as a joke, haha. You're like, people are gonna be like, okay, yeah, sure, you bought it as a joke, haha. But I'm just saying, if you want to buy one, go for it. Power to you. I'm just saying that like you can't have roommates and have one. But if you win it in a raffle, you can be like, haha, I won it in a raffle. I didn't choose to get this. I just bought 80 pins because I wanted 80
accidentally
pins.
got this. Yeah.
Yeah, I accidentally, haha, kooky, crazy. Yeah, no, but what we're gonna do is every purchase of any piece of merch is just gonna have a raffle ticket. So
That's awesome.
if you buy a
Your
pin,
cover story.
it's your cover stories. I won it in a raffle. It
All
came
right.
to me in a dream.
I'm gonna let's get through. So we are coming up on 2 hours now. We do have a bunch more questions to answer. which we could potentially just
rapid fire for Hannah.
Yeah, rapid fire. So let's
Yeah.
not go into too much more detail. If
I'm
you
getting
guys,
a little tired.
Yeah. So, let's see some of the.
So let's see. Test Pumpkin, how long did it take to make the pilot? And can you give a projection of when your next episode will come out?
Yeah. In 2 minutes or less.
So Shaggy,
Yeah.
help me out with this one. It took like 13 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first episode took 13 months working full time on it.
And
we
did they
are
ask
not
about the
working.
budget?
The budget, very specific. I worked it out. It was when we say the budget for the episode, we're not saying like, oh, if we had this money again, we could make another episode, because that's insane. But we in an accumulation over the 13 months got $1,100 from Patreon that we used. That literally went straight to the sound, music, and our backgrounds.
And
1,100 or 11,000?
11,000. Sorry,
I would say that
sorry, it was 11,000. Sorry, my bad.
doesn't count the sweat equity and just time that you all put in, probably without compensation.
I'm putting well over
because the
8
four of
hours
us
a day on
worked
this.
for free on that,
Right?
Or
right.
We
Lars
also
didn't
pulled
work
in a
for
lot
free
of.
then,
We also
but-
pulled in a lot of favors.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had friends who helped out. They would like paint a background. Like every time someone would like help out, it was a huge push. But yeah. So I hope that answers the question.
Oh yeah, I wanted to clarify something really quick. Lars was not part of the official team yet when we were working on that episode, so he was just a background painter. He joined in later on. I don't know if that we talked about that at all, but yeah.
He's the squid in the group.
Yeah.
That's a great insult.
What? What? You're a squid? You are the squid.
Squids are cool.
No, that's. Oh man,
Squids are very
you guys
I
are
thought
good-
the
you guys are
squid
great.
is just the last person to join the friend group. As
No, but
as
that
by
character,
rocket
his head looks like
I
it's
was
traced off
wondering
a
if this was
carpet
a
stain.
Rocket Power
Dude.
reference. I was like,
Fable
there's no
Fable
way.
is about to
There's
pull
no
our
way.
heads off. We're diverting the
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Nonsense. We need
gotta
more
stop
questions.
eating it.
Okay,
We gotta
okay.
You're the
go.
one that attacked,
Newt,
you
next
attacked my
question.
character.
Okay, I think they were
Done,
they
yeah.
were asking for a projection of next
Yes,
episode, but
yeah.
if the answer is it gets here when it gets here.
That is
We
the
have-
answer,
we have a-
unfortunately.
no, we
Sorry.
can-
I mean,
look,
it is
I
being
can
worked
get-
on.
I can
It is
get
being
more
worked on.
specific. We've got a cool crossover episode with a creator that we're not gonna. It's still in the baby phases, but we're gonna do a cool little crossover short. We've got another fun short in the works that's actively being animated
being
right now.
animated
That's
right now.
nearly done, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And then we've got the big finish. Like the final episode of the season is like a short film. It's like a very intense short film. Probably going to be the craziest thing we ever
Probably
make.
going to be longer than episode 1. I think it's going to be like 15 minutes.
It's pushing. It's going to push like 20 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see about that.
If I have anything to say about it, but anyway, yeah, we got that, and then we also just have a normal episode queued up that we've just started storyboarding.
Voices for that are very fun.
Yeah, we're very excited. We've got some.
Oh wait, that's
incredible
what I
new
was
talent.
talking about. That's what I thought we were. Are you talking about the when you said 20 minutes? Were you talking about the finale episode?
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. Sorry, yeah, the next episode. Yeah, that's going to be about 15 minutes as well. That's going to be our next proper length episode. But the big finish finale episode is a short film pushing like 20.
Oh yeah,
That one-
no, yeah, that one's going to
one's
be
fun
probably
when it's
like half an hour.
Yeah. But that one we're working on the finale like bit by bit because there's some like crazy animation going into that. We wanted it to be like a nice big finish.
And we're actually we're also working on completing another little segment of animation from that one too, just because it's going to be so long before it comes out.
Yeah, so that one.
The teaser that we uploaded with the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse was part of that episode. We're gonna
so excited.
release another.
Yeah.
We're gonna
love
release
the 4
another little
Horsemen
scene
of
from that.
Apocalypse. They give me warm fuzzies.
Hell yeah!
Oh well, yeah. Well, then go check out Joel Haver and his friend Trent Linkowski. They make awesome EB Synth videos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
we
we
got
found out
them.
about EB Synth. I think was Joel Haver.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, they
us too.
popularized
I
it
mean,
for sure.
he popularized that thing. I mean, his shorts are
tutorial
incredible.
on it,
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, so we're incredibly lucky that we managed to get him, and then we want to credit him as well. Him, Trent, and their friend Dylan were War, Pestilence, and Famine. and
that's
Death
awesome. I didn't even
was
realize that was them. That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And Death was voiced by
and
Josh Tomar.
Joshua
Nice.
Tomar.
Oh, nice.
And we got all 4 of them in a call, and we were like, "Hey guys, we've scripted some stuff, but we want to like have you guys, because Joel and Trent are improvisational
Improv.
wizards.
Yeah.
So we're like it's like." I don't know. It's like leaving your Ferrari parked in a garage. Like giving Joel have a script is you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's like, dude, just turn the mic on. And we sat for like an hour, and they helped us come up with possibly some like anything funny that I could have ever written. Honestly, the stuff that they did, and it's just a crime that they're in the final episode. So it's gonna be ages till you get to see more of them. I'm glad we got to give you like we did the teaser just to be like, we've got them. We need to. Show, you know what I mean, like the
oh
world,
god, I know what you mean.
Good
yeah,
these guys are.
The our voice cast, they're just so freaking talented, and we're like, how do we give these guys more work? And like now, you don't want to. Yeah, you just want to like, once you do a recording, it's like, oh man, it's gonna take us so long to actually get around to like actually showing people what this is. It's like, how can we do little like short things that feature them? And
I know, yeah.
I really sorry. I do apologize to the people who ask questions. I want to get to everyone's, and I'm sorry that I keep derailing.
You're fine.
That's how these always go.
It is the nature of these conversations. This happens every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we have any remaining questions?
We've got 2 more. One serious,
right.
one silly. We'll ask the serious, and then we'll end on the silly one.
All right.
First one is by Gaslight. How do all the artists feel about adaptations of their work in more esoteric ways by fans, like cosplay or 3D items?
Oh, I absolutely love that. We adore fan art. We love that. Like it's so crazy to me that people like my characters enough to draw them and like have them in their heads. I still haven't really like kind of processed like how many people have seen Satina, and like it just like googling Satina on Google Images and like looking at all the things that people have drawn is like mind-boggling to me.
Yep.
So yeah, I love that stuff. I'm sure
it's going to be apparent how much we love it very soon.
Ooh.
Yes.
I think one of the greatest joys of just finding Satina and Lucia like Gary's models, because that's when you know okay, this was made with love. I love it. Yeah.
Or seeing Satina in the Newgrounds front page art.
Oh my god, that's so cool. It's so cool. Like there's a lot of people who draw the banners and like put her in, and it's like, oh, that's so cute.
Oh,
she's like a Newgrounds person.
I'll be very quick about this as well, but just this is still related to the question. But we adore. When we put out Satina, we saw that there were people making dubs of Satina and uploading them, like in Spanish and Korean and stuff like that. But what they would do is they would force the audio down, which I was like, no, don't do that, because like Kennedy worked so hard on the sound, and the sound effects are so good.
Kennedy was. Kennedy's awesome.
We share a Kennedy.
So,
shout out to Kennedy Phillips.
Yeah, Kennedy.
I was like, no, this is stupid. Like, don't do that. So what I was like, fuck. Okay, how do I fix this? So we have a thing where, I mean, like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but we literally, whenever we upload a new cartoon, we'll upload a version with just the dialogue out, so it's no dialogue. And there's a Google folder that anybody who is a dubber, you can be an amateur, you can be like, even voice actors. If you want to voice act over all of our stuff, like redub the characters for your reel or whatever, you can do that, and as long as you just credit us in your description, have at it. We're not going to strike your channel. You can monetize it, so you can like make at least something back off of your effort. I mean, we've got a Spanish dub of Satina episode 1 that's like over 1 million views. So it's incredible to think that we just have this like this Spanish speaking fan base. So yeah, in terms of that, like dubbers, voice actors, our material is yours to use as long as you're respectful with it. Like go nuts.
Nice. That's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's always fun when something you've done is just inspires somebody else to create something of their own.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing ever. That's what makes it all worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's that special feeling an artist gets,
Yeah.
That special art feeling.
It's a special art feeling. Of its own.
All right, last question.
And then the last one, sillier one from Ramen Gamer. Quote, I'd ask about a Lucia body pillow, but I'm worried that it'd be sold at actual size. And then the first thing that comes to mind is just a Lucia mattress.
No. You joke, but we were in talks. when we were
Get
first doing
bedsheets made.
merch with Shark, yeah, bedsheet, the elasticized bedsheet. We were thinking of like, can we sell an elasticized bedsheet of Lucia? Like, is that a thing you can do?
I think you can.
Yeah, wrap yourself in Big Mama.
Because here's the thing, not
Very funny.
everybody has a
weighted
body pillow
blanket,
sized
like-
pillow, but everyone has a mattress. Everyone could have
Most
be
people.
sleeping on Lucia.
Some people have a futon.
Look, I don't want to
fancy people
flex
have
too
that.
hard on the viewers, but I do have a mattress, and I'm sorry that I
Whoa,
assumed that it was
big
a
fancy
guy.
masters ever. Okay.
Oh,
A
wow.
lot, Mr. City Slicker.
Mr. Sleeps at night over
Next
here.
you're
Okay,
gonna say that you
Arnold,
don't
you're
sleep
just
in a race
jealous.
car.
You're just jealous that I sleep in a Tesla race car bed.
He sleeps in a big bed with his wife, dude.
With my big red wife.
My big red wife. Yeah.
You too, for the low price of $59.99 could also sleep with your big red wife.
He sleeps in the front seat. You sleep in the back seat, right?
$6.66. You can have this pin and a chance to win a Lucia mattress.
Let's see, imagine.
Most
have
expensive
it
piece of
all.
merch anyone's ever made.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right. I think that about wraps up our shop talk. So
We got 2 donations
Oh, no,
right
already?
under the
Yeah.
wire
Oh
my
to sponsor
God.
the bed sheet.
okay.
One's just donating for the bed sheet, I think. Yeah. Just hoping
No, wait,
that
hold,
happens.
I really like this other question. Hold on, I'm gonna ask it. Hannah, Napoleon, the enemy troops are coming. What can we do?
Oh god. I don't know. Lucia stomps them all
Lucia
to death.
probably would help out.
Yeah. Lucia
She-
body slams them and
She
kills all
steps
of them
on them?
instantly. Yeah, maybe.
Sure. Why
Okay,
not?
on that
The
bombshell,
hesitation.
thanks for having us on the show.
Well, yeah, before you guys go, you want to shout out your socials or any links, that kind of thing? Website?
Yeah, where
Yes,
can people find
yes.
you?
Arnold, before you forget, you have to shout someone out.
Oh yeah, listen, my boy James at work. All right, he helped me during the darkest hours on the October rush, cleaning late into the night.
go.
You're my boy. Let's go. I'll see you next time, buddy. Love you.
Hell yeah. Okay, I didn't want you to forget that. Yeah, so my social media, our YouTube channel is just my name, Hannah Daigle, Daigle. If you look it up, you'll find it. My Twitter is @HeyDaigle, Daigle. What else do we have? All my other socials are on there too on my link tree, so I'm not gonna waste time like shouting
Yeah.
them out. But
Not
you guys shout out your socials.
I'd rather shout out my boy Mike Corpora. Go watch Bridge Kids on Newgrounds. It's a really funny cartoon. It's way more important than my Twitter, which is Weezer Blood Orgy, where nothing gets posted ever.
Weezer Blood Orgy. Follow
At
right
Weezer
now.
Blood Orgy.
Also,
Don't-
the official Scum House Twitter is just Scum House. You can go follow that too for updates. Shaggy
where
runs it,
nothing gets
so-
posted ever. Except,
Nothing gets
like,
posted, but
moments
sometimes it
before,
does.
moments before a new episode gets posted, I'll usually post about it, or the Lackadaisy
I
stream.
really hope you've made a Bloody Holly joke with that.
Bloody Holly! Shaggy.
Oh,
This is a
no.
game changer, dude.
Oh no.
No, he left!
Oh, I ruined the career!
No!
Yeah. Dude, like, what is even the point? Like, I'm just never gonna be that funny. That's incredible. Bloody Holly. That's on the nose, dude. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, Arnold Lars, shout out your socials.
Lars, you wanna go first? Okay,
No, I
okay.
don't. You go.
Yeah, my thing is Arnie_Guts on Twitter. I usually whenever we post anything, I'll make a big Twitter thread to just be like, hey,
Yeah, you're good at that.
here's
You're
the
on top of
process.
those threads.
Yeah, here's like the process of like what went into the animation and like what was the thinking for it. Like I like behind the scenes stuff. We can't really like edit a big behind the scenes stuff, so that's the closest thing I can get. Sometimes I draw like stuff about tabletop stuff. Yeah, like just for fun. I'm also on Newgrounds, Arnie GUTZ, Arnie Guts. And
Oh yeah, we're also on Newgrounds as well. I
we're
think
on
it's also
Newgrounds.
Scum House.
yeah.
And my personal Newgrounds is in my link tree. Lars, shout out your socials.
I am. I update like once a year, basically. But hey, I cut through the BS. Right? You're not gonna see a bunch of opinions or random posts about nothing. It's just the work. Pretty much nothing else. So you get those annual
yeah.
painting updates. It's at Sugar POLYP.
Sugar
on
Polyp.
Twitter. A lot of people think that's fucking Sugar Lollipop. It's not Sugar Lollipop. That was my mistake. It's Sugar Polyp. But or you can go to brainjuiceinc.com, ink.com. But go on Twitter. Twitter's
Oh,
better.
I like that name. That's a good name.
Thank
Brain
you.
juice ink.
Check out his website. His website is actually dope.
It has all
There
of
is
his cool
there is
drawings
a
and
bunch of
paintings.
Satina stuff on there that people haven't
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah, a lot of
Diagrams?
behind the scenes Satina stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's in the Scumhouse vault.
What's in the
So
Scum
only
House
the
vault?
upper
Sorry.
tier of Patreon gets to see that.
Yeah. The
Do
upper
what?
echelons
Do
of Scumhouse hierarchy you get to see
No, wait.
the draw.
Do what?
Lies, the special
missed the
drawings that
joke.
Hannah did. The Scumhouse vault is where Hannah keeps all of her drawings and detailed diagrams of certain events.
Of certain
Yes,
events.
okay.
Of
Okay.
how
Yeah.
mechanisms
Man,
work.
dude.
There is
I'm just
there is a
excited.
particular part of a relationship that two people who love each other will celebrate, and that's what she's got in there between Dave and Lucy. Like when a man loves a demon.
I love the giant 100-foot tall
When
demon
a
woman.
man summons a demon, a lot. Here's how
Yeah,
you
Michael
can
Bolton on that.
make your own summon Big Mama summoning circle. The
Homemade
summoning
demon spell
kits.
recipe.
Lucia summoning kit. We're gonna sell that.
Lucia
on the
summoning kit. There you go.
Yeah. If you go to we haven't built it yet, but if you go to scum.house, that's gonna be our merch website when it's finally
Okay, now I want the Lucia summoning kit to actually be some merch that you guys have at some point, because
We can cook something up, I'm sure.
that'd be pretty
Yeah.
funny. Actually.
Check out our wacky Necronomicon on sale now. Just say the funny
Oh, there you
word.
go.
Oh my gosh.
you'll have never be alone again. All right, and I thank you guys for coming on to Shop Talk. Chatting with y'all was a delight.
Thank
love
you.
Thank you so much for having us. It was so nice.
Yeah, the origins
This
of
is awesome.
Satina. You guys, you're awesome. And,
Yeah, you guys are a lot of fun, and can't
Thank
wait to
you,
see
thank you.
what more there is to be seen about Satina and
Yes.
her
Yeah,
shop.
likewise, we're looking forward to more Lackadaisy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Aw.
Hell yeah.
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 Okay.
All
Bye
right.
bye. Mwah,
All
mwah.
right, bye guys.
You guys are
Bye,
lovely.
everybody.
Bye everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining
See you
us.
guys.
Bye,
Bye.
audience.
Oh.
Ah!